Limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
High taxes can erode returns quickly. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? Let Creative Planning help with a free year-end tax review. This personalized review will help you reduce your tax burden before the year ends. It's the perfect time to take proactive steps to optimize your tax situation. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free tax review. Act now. This offer is only good till Monday, October 28th at midnight. That's creativeplanning.com/radio.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Looking for a fun, friendly alternative to spooky neighborhood trick-or-treating? Join us for Trunk or Treat. At Life Church, we're creating a safe, welcoming space for families. Enjoy a night filled with decorated trunks, tasty treats, games, and community fun, all without the fright. Dress up in your favorite costumes and make lasting memories with friends and neighbors in a cheerful atmosphere. This year, skip the scary and join us for a night of laughter and joy instead. Go to lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
Join WIBC this Halloween for safe trick-or-treat at the Indiana State Fairgrounds starting at 5 p.m. This event is proudly presented to you by your Indiana Secretary of State. Make a plan to get to the polls and vote. Go to indianavoters.com to find polling locations.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer. Coming up in 2 minutes, Donnie Burgess sheds some light on some intense testimony in the Delphi murders trial. Plus, a handful of firefighters in Morgan County say they're in a world of hurt, and the campaign for a title begins tonight for the Pacers. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
People are casting ballots in yet another state. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, West Virginia, where Republicans are confident they can flip a Senate seat from Democrat blue. More than 19 million Americans have already voted early. Former President Trump's going to join them.
I'll be voting early.
That's from a Trump interview that'll air next hour on Brian Kilmeade's Fox News radio show.
You know, people have different feelings about it, but the main thing is you got to get out, you got to vote.
The former president will also have a town hall and rally today in Georgia, and after 4 events the last 2 days in another toss-up state, North Carolina. President Biden at an event in New Hampshire said this about the former president.
We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up.
The Trump campaign says that's Biden admitting the truth, accusing Democrats of election interference with 4 Trump criminal indictments. He was convicted of falsifying business records in New York. Campaigning for Vice President Harris in Wisconsin and then Michigan, former President Obama said,
when he's not complaining, when he's not doing some strange tweet, he's trying to sell you stuff. I mean, who is hawking merch when they're running for president?
Now, Vice President Harris will have a town hall in Pennsylvania today. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will next hold talks in Saudi Arabia after going to Israel, pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza and hostage release after Israel killed Hamas's leader.
And we have to make sure that this is a moment of opportunity to move forward.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin denies a report that a Defense Department official is under investigation over the leak of American intelligence on Israel's plans to retaliate against Iran for this month's missile attack. And Austin also confirms that North Korea appears to be more involved in the war in Ukraine.
There is evidence that there are DPRK troops, in Russia.
Secretary Austin calls that a very serious development as the U.S. keeps backing Ukraine, supplying weapons and military aid in the battle against Russia. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's a video you may have heard about. Radar is clear. It's 60 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Now, it's finally been revealed in court. Donnie Burgess reports on the Down the Hill video.
Part of the Down the Hill Snapchat video was played during day 4 of the Delphi murders trial. Reporters in the room say one of the girls can be heard saying, "The trail ends here. We have to go down there." But it's unclear in what context that was being said. Suspect Richard Allen is charged with the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German and is accused by the state of being the Down the Hill Bridge Guy. Witnesses called to the stand Tuesday afternoon gave descriptions of Bridge Guy that do not match known descriptions of Allen. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Dealing resulting in death. That's the charge against a drug dealer in Hamilton County. Alfredi Peterson Jr. is said by police to have sold the drugs that Hannah Field ended up taking and ended up dying from. They were pills laced with fentanyl, which Field ended up overdosing on. Firefighters within Madison Township in Morgan County are working with a 17-year-old tanker truck with a bad pump, among many other things. Union Rep Nathan Meredith tells Wish TV.
What this means for the citizens of Madison Township is when they call 911 for an emergency, they have to question whether we have the adequate equipment to properly protect them.
They've asked for more funds from the township's 2025 budget proposal, which was discussed Tuesday, but trustees rejected it. Life in prison for a man convicted in a 1975 cold case murder. Fred Bandy Jr. is guilty of the murder of Laurel Mitchell in Fort Wayne. It begins tonight for the Indiana Pacers. For guard Tyrese Halliburton, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's like kid on Christmas, first game of the year. It's an exciting time. Happy and excited for the preseason, but we all just want to get to the regular game. So, happy that the preseason's over with and we're getting to, playing real basketball here soon.
The Pacers beginning the regular season on the road against the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Yeah, Kirk, crash eastbound 465 after 865. It's on the shoulder, stopping traffic back to Cooper Road. This is also stopping northbound 465 from 79th on up. That's a 14-minute delay. Crash on the east side, northbound 465 after I-70, blocking the left lane, causing a slowdown. And inbound 70 drags from Emerson through the north split for stop and go to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Burrito. Wendy's bacon or sausage breakfast burrito is everything you want, all rolled up into a warm tortilla. If it's a full-blown breakfast, you got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
Piece of gold, peace of mind. That's why so many concerned Americans are adding gold to their portfolios. At American Bullion, we pioneered a fast and secure gold IRA process and can help you learn about and protect your current IRA or old 401k with the proven value of gold and silver. With dangerously rising unrest around the world, volatility in the economy, and upcoming elections, it's more critical than ever to consider protecting your portfolio with a gold IRA rollover. At American Bullion, our experienced team is here to guide you from A to Z. We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Don't wait. Make the call. Protect your IRA or old 401k with our hassle-free and tax-free process. Call American Bullion today for your free gold guide and learn about all your options. Call 800-456-7475. That's 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies, breezy conditions, slightly cooler. Today's high around 73. Tonight we're mostly clear, colder as well, low down to 38. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
60 degrees and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 7 minutes after 9. We are Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So your president said something. I know. Amazing. He's your president, by the way. I'm talking about Joe Biden. He's your current sitting president.
We were pondering this last night at the Micah Beckwith event, which, by the way, thank you to everybody who came out of that great crowd of people. And that was a lot of fun. But we were pondering this last night. What does Biden do all day?
He naps.
Like
he goes to his little desk.
You have forgotten that Joe Biden is the president in the United States. Like in my mind right now, Kamala Harris is, I mean, I know she is the president, like in terms of making the choices or whatever, but I forget until he does something crazy like we're about to play or says something crazy that we're about to play that Biden is even that's nuts.
Yes. He was in New Hampshire, and he was at this event to tout his health care and prescription drug cost legislation, but then he decided to start attacking Donald Trump. And during this campaign event in New Hampshire, he said, we got to lock up Trump.
It's not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up.
Politically lock him up.
What does that even mean? Politically lock him up.
I don't know.
What does that mean? I feel like I've been around politics for quite a while. I feel like I'm pretty engrossed in the political world and have a pretty good grasp on the political lingo of the day. I've never, ever, Casey, in my entire life heard the phrase politically we've got to lock him up.
I was thinking about this, and I was trying to decide what that meant. And it almost, if you're going to lock something up, lock it down, lock it up, that means you're for it, right? So is this Joe Biden's weird way of endorsing Donald Trump? We got to lock it up.
Well, I mean, look, it's a dithering old man. I mean, first of all, the stuff that he said is just ridiculous. I've never heard Donald Trump say we should fire every single civil servant. If somebody tries to kill the president, you're mad that if they tried to kill somebody? I mean, I don't know what Biden case is trying to even make that Trump believes that. It's so ridiculous. We could go have a whole show trying to decipher it, so we won't do that. But he said the thing. He said the thing that he really thinks, which is that they should be able to throw Donald Trump in jail because of his beliefs and viewpoints and the way he campaigns. He said the thing.
Well, they've been trying to politically prosecute him all along, right? Because they can't win fair and square. So this is the avenue that they're choosing.
And the reason this is a big deal is because if they do it to him, they will do it to you. Donald... Think about what they've done to Trump, and he has the mechanism, the means to fight back. He has the money, he has the power structure, he has all these things to be able to fight back and defend himself. Would you have that? No, of course not.
No.
Right?
Not against the federal government.
No, of course not. Very few people, not named Vince McMahon, ever fight the federal government and live to tell about it, right? I mean, you have to be, or Donald Trump, right? What do those guys have in common? They're infinitely rich. They're powerful. They were connected. They were able to fight back. The overwhelming majority of people who come in contact with the federal government not only fail, but fail miserably. And he's sending that as a warning shot, right? He's telling you when these people talk, you should listen to them. When they talk, you should listen to them.
And Kamala Harris, has she said anything about this?
Oh, no, of course not.
Has she acknowledged it, condemned it? Nothing.
Does she know
Silence.
Joe Biden's even alive at this point?
Does she know Joe Biden is her boss?
Wouldn't that be a fascinating question?
Air quotes, boss.
Wouldn't that be a fascinating question to Kamala Harris? How much time do you and the president of the United States actually spend in communication now? Like, how often do you actually communicate with each other? I would love to know when the last time she had any sort of conversation with Joe Biden was.
I think it just shows how scared the Democrats are about Trump's political comeback, because they're saying these things, and it just shows the voters are just so dissatisfied with his administration. But it's going to backfire, because this kind of talk always galvanizes Trump's base and voters.
All right, so let's have this conversation, because I had this conversation with a couple of people yesterday. We had this very briefly on the air. Matt Hiblin and I talked about this yesterday. Are you convinced that Trump is doing as well as some of the people on our side of the aisle think he is?
I think he's doing pretty well. And the only thing that I can cite is my recent trip. You know, I went out to the East Coast while I was gone and spent, again, a lot of time in Pennsylvania. I was driving around the Laurel Highlands, which is up where the Flight 93 National Memorial is.
Yeah.
And every yard sign that I saw, with the exception of one, and this is not an exaggeration, every yard sign except for one was for Donald Trump. And that tells me that those are people that are putting those out in their yard. Now, I did see one big billboard that was a Harris sign, but that was paid for by the DNC.
Sure. Right.
So people are choosing to put the Trump Vance signs in their yard. They're not choosing to put Harris Wall signs in their yard.
Yeah, so the question I have is this, because anecdotally, like in Nevada, there's anecdotal evidence that he's doing very well, which is the registered Republicans are actually beating the Democrats in early voting. Not doing better than they've done in the past, they're actually beating them. There's anecdotal evidence that in Georgia, North Carolina, that's going pretty well. But like when I look at Pennsylvania and I see that the Democrats have built now who knows how everybody actually votes, but in terms of registered Democrats versus registered Republicans, and I see that they've built a 325,000 early vote firewall. If you believe overwhelmingly the majority of these people are straight party voting. I do wonder if we live in such an echo chamber, because algorithms are putting us in an echo chamber now, right? On social media, you have to seek out opinions or interests that are different than yours. And what I was telling Matt yesterday is I said, and I have to do this deliberately, when I will go to liberal social media and I see their posts and then the comments to their posts, they're every bit as confident, they're every bit as passionate as we are on our side. And I think we start living in this echo bubble of, well, everybody I know thinks the way I do.
Right.
And so I do worry. First of all, I worry that how many people are actually shy about talking about their support of Trump now. I think we've come to anticipate, it's like it must be 3% better than what it was, because Trump always does better. I don't know now. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not happening again. I don't know. It seems like fewer and fewer people are afraid of expressing themselves, but maybe it's still happening. I wonder about that. And then I wonder about how the Republican Party, Donald Trump, can beat the machine in a place like Pennsylvania with the mass mail-in, unaccountable balloting, where thousands of ballots just get shipped out and you have no idea who gets them. You have no idea who fills them out. You have no idea who returns them. I worry about that in places like Michigan. Have the Republicans, because this is how in super close races these things get decided, have they come up with enough voters to beat the machine to the point where the machine can't crack the code on Election Day?
Well, I did just see that in Pennsylvania, voter registration, they have Democrats down by over 257,000 and Republicans up by 130,000.
And I'm not disputing that. And that's what I'm saying. Anecdotally, I agree there are things that are positive. But when you look at the actual votes that are being cast early, and let's say if it's I don't know what the number was from yesterday because I was busy doing that thing with Micah, but let's say it's at 325. If they get it to 400,000 by Election Day, because this is how Fetterman won in the off-year election, is they had such an early vote lead that even though Oz won on Election Day, he didn't win by enough to overcome that early vote threshold. If they push that to 400,000 or more, is Donald Trump capable of winning by that much on Election Day? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe he is. I'm just telling people I would temper my enthusiasm, because the echo chamber that we are all in, we sometimes stop looking at data from the ground and we stop looking or pondering the realities on the ground, which is all of these states are run by Democrats, which means their machine will turn out votes, and more importantly, their machine will count the votes.
Well, I think, in the past, typically, Republicans haven't been as good with the early voting. That's always been a Democrat thing.
Right.
And now we're seeing that Republicans are leading on that. So if that trend continues, yes, I think it is good news. What, are there Democrats holding back their votes and they're all going to show up on Election Day?
Well, and like I said, in Nevada, that appears the Republicans are well, even here in Indiana, I mean, the Republican primary ballot voters are way ahead of Democrats. But I'm just going off of, if we say Pennsylvania is the grand prize, I think everything. Now, Trump has a much better shot. She has no shot if she loses Pennsylvania. If she loses Pennsylvania, it's over. Trump still has a shot if he loses Pennsylvania. But if we're kind of acting like that's the grand prize, and I'm paying attention to that, if I'm saying the other side starting with a 400, 500,000 vote lead, while you can tell me about your enthusiasm, you can tell me about your voter registration, I'm telling you the votes that I'm actually seeing. All I'm saying is everybody needs to, calm their horses on this. It's going to be a Reagan 49 state landslide. I'm not sure that's exactly going to happen, and you better be prepared for something razor thin either way.
So Donald Trump's going to appear on a Joe Rogan show. That's going to be filmed in Austin on Friday. We're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Areas of central Indiana might get some rain on Friday.
93 WIBC.
Moderate or severe drought.
Hear the news.
Day 4 in the Delphi murders trial.
3 witnesses who were on the trails on February 13th, 2017. All 3 described Bridge Guy as a young, tall, white man. The state says Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. Allen is around 5'4".
Another news update is minutes away.
Regular season starts tonight for the Indiana Pacers.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at fireworks don't go in the attic insurance. Hole in window insurance. Even guy that shouldn't have a chainsaw but has a chainsaw insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
He's going to sit down with Joe Rogan. It's a recording. It's going to happen in Austin, Texas on Friday. When they will release it, probably a few days after that. So Trump's going to visit Texas. Kamala Harris is also going to be there. She's scheduled to host a campaign rally in Houston. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. You know what? Back to what you were talking about earlier, Rob. I read somebody said that Kamala Harris is going to Texas to campaign because she is so confident that she has the blue wall locked up. That's why she feels she doesn't have to be in Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania, that she's free now to go to Texas.
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think what's going on with Texas is they have basically checked off West Virginia and now Montana. Now, there was an article that came out. I'm talking these Senate races now. That they checked off those 2 boxes for the Republicans. Now, the Democrats are still putting money into Montana, but it's over, right? Trump's going to be at the top of that ticket. That's a deep red state. He's a good candidate out there. There's your 51 votes, which means the Democrats, if they can hold those blue states, which they've now moved Pennsylvania into the toss-up category, they moved Wisconsin into the toss-up category, the Democrats have got to find a state somewhere. If they can hold those, they got to find a state in order to keep the Senate, which means they got to flip. So there's this Nebraska Senate race is a little closer than they expected. Florida is still somewhat close, and Texas are the 3 possibles. So I think she's going there to fundraise. She's going. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of liberal people in Houston, so she's going to fundraise. She's not like doing charity work out there. But also that Senate race out there with Ted Cruz, that's one of the ones that they're saying, okay, if we have written these 2 off, we are now at a 51-49 minority, and we got to hold Ohio, we got to hold Michigan, and we got to hold Pennsylvania, and we got to hold Wisconsin. All of those are in play, and if Trump is winning there, then those we've seen McCormick rise, we've seen the guy in Wisconsin rise. So I think I look at it the exact opposite. I think they're playing defense, and now they're trying to fish. They're fishing for votes somewhere else.
And when you say McCormick, you're talking about the guy who's running for senator.
David McCormick, not Jennifer McCormick.
Right, in Pennsylvania. And that is a weird thing because when you're in Pennsylvania and you see the Trump sign and it's always next to a McCormick sign, it's a little, it jogs your mind because I'm thinking Indiana and Jennifer McCormick, the governor's race. But back to Joe Rogan. So Donald Trump is going to be on the Joe Rogan Experience. Of course, that podcast is ranked as one of the most popular podcasts in media, particularly among young men, and it's been that way for quite a while. Long form. This is going to be a multi-hour, non-edited podcast.
Wow.
No way Kamala Harris could sit for something like that.
Okay, so he's doing it Friday, right? He's going to take. Kev, how long is a Rogan turnaround? You listen to Rogan. How long does it take him to turn a podcast taping into an episode? Is it quick?
I don't keep up with it that closely.
So you're not like,
but I'm sure I'm sure he puts it up the next day.
Because if you have some comedian on, which he'll do, or some guy talking about aliens in Area 51, that's pretty green and generic, right? You could tape that on a Friday and air that on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But with Trump...
this one should come out right away.
It's timely, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's work through this here as a couple cackling hens. The positive of this is that he's once again digging into the Kev demo, which is Gen Z and younger millennial men well, millennial men, because I think probably through my age, I'm 40, listen to Rogan. That's what he's going for. That's the positive, right? He feels I have a blank canvas by which to reach these. And it's probably not even voters. It's people who may not be motivated to vote. They're going to see him on with Rogan, and they're going to say, I got to go vote for this guy. It's not even flipping votes or undecided voters. Now, I think at this point with Trump,
it's engaging with non-voters.
It's getting people to go vote. Because you and I were having this conversation. Like, what percentage of people do you think are undecided?
Well, I think the national poll says like 7-8%.
I don't believe that for a second that you couldn't know it. How could you not know at this point who you're voting for president of the United States? What other information are you looking for?
It's not that you're undecided. It's whether you're going to vote at all.
Bingo. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this play is men will say 23 to 40 who otherwise might not be motivated to vote, that he thinks he can go on this podcast with Rogan and just seeing him, that'll get them motivated enough to go engage.
It does add an extra layer because they've had somewhat of a complicated past. And what I hope doesn't happen is, because Joe Rogan lets the bad words fly as he can on a podcast, I hope that Trump doesn't go down that.
It is a very
hole with
relaxed podcast. They'll talk about anything.
Okay. So, but he's been on these other millennial guy podcasts.
Yeah, Trump is good about keeping it clean.
Oh yeah, I mean, unless he's at a rally. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope he doesn't get all charged up like at a rally.
So then the downfall becomes: does he say some Trump ridiculous something? Right. So
that could hurt him.
The win is we think there's a bunch of non-voting or people who are inclined not to vote. It's a free lane. If you can get 10% of them, then it's worth the risk. Go for it. But the downfall is you got to sit there with this guy for 2 hours, and he's not just going to talk about, tell us about your tax plan. He's going to ask Trump if you think we actually landed on the moon or something like that.
Yeah.
And does Trump say something wacky?
The media is going to grab some clips from this for sure and try to use it against him.
But at this point, I know we got to get to breaks so we get the news. At this point, Trump has basically insulated himself, and there's never been anybody like this. He's basically insulated himself from any harm from saying something ridiculous, right?
Because he's already said everything ridiculous, right? Like, what could he possibly say?
That's my point. If Trump came out on Rogan and said, "Yeah, I think the moon landing was staged," would it even make the news? I mean, would it even be like the lead story? Would we just go,
oh, sure it would. NBC, MSNBC.
Yeah, but I'm saying with the voters, would it be like some earth-shattering thing where you would just go, oh, so I guess Trump doesn't think we landed on the moon.
Right.
That's cool.
People who are going to vote for him are already used to that.
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. We've got Jim Merritt who's going to join us next, but Kurt Darling on the way with your news on 93 WIBC.
It's JMV, and Halloween is approaching quickly, and Miss M's Home and Garden wants to start the spooky season off right. Visit them this Saturday, the 26th, for their annual pet costume contest. Bring your furry friend and their best costume for your chance to win great prizes. Miss M's also has partnered with local animal advocate Leanne's Animal Rescue to raise money, toys, food, and treats for her efforts. Bring donations all day Saturday for door prizes, too. Leanne will be there from 10 until 2 to talk more about her efforts. Visit MissM'sHomeandGarden.com for more info today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hitting the swing states hard. Radar is clear. 61 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are campaigning in the battleground state of Georgia this week. With Election Day now less than 2 weeks away, the presidential candidates are taking their campaigns to Atlanta. Republican Donald Trump will be having a town hall and a campaign rally there today. Democrat Kamala Harris will be in Atlanta as well as tomorrow, and then will be joined by former President Barack Obama. Some places got some rain throughout Indiana Tuesday evening.
But precipitation was very, very light and really didn't amount to a whole lot, but there was just a tiny bit of measurable precipitation.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. Much of the state is dealing with drought. Denny's is closing 150 of its restaurants. The 71-year-old diner chain announced Tuesday that it plans to close 50 of its lower-performing locations by the end of the year, and then another 100 shuttering by 2025. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, with stock futures sliding as Treasury yields kick higher once again. The Dow is down 261 to 42,908. The NASDAQ down to 104 to 20,437. And the S&P 500 is down 22 to 5,870. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's time to get ready for spooky season by eliminating all that spooky dirt, grime, and spills. Halloween brings out the best in people, but it also brings out some pretty scary crud from all the foot traffic. How about having Zero Res help you take on all of that with an unbelievable October special? Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at just $119 and $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's a $50 savings on carpet cleaning. And remember that your air ducts are where the really spooky stuff is. Yikes! The Zero Res service for your carpets, floors, or air ducts is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. I love these folks. And don't forget the ZR water difference. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, leaving things really clean. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119, plus you get $75 off air duct cleaning too. 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's not uncommon for us to meet with a new client, and the first thing they say is, "We heard you on the radio."
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
Hi, my name's Richard Michaelis. Our firm's Michaelis Corporation. We're general contractors, and we specialize in insurance restoration.
Brand awareness.
When our business needed to increase our brand awareness, we looked to Radio 1. Throughout the years, we learned their listeners have a large amount of trust when it comes to businesses that are recommended on air. The on-air talent that endorse Michaelis are real customers with real experiences.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
Working with Radio 1 has created brand awareness for Michaelis Corporation.
Take your advertising to the next level. Text business to 71007 now.
We've enjoyed our partnership with Radio 1. We look forward to continuing for many years to come.
Get results with WIBC.
Well, we are less than 2 weeks until Election Day here in Indiana. How's it going to go? Let's go to an expert. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall Casey show. Rob Casey's here, and oh my goodness, look who it is.
Robert?
My wife loves Robert. She just loves it. I was talking with Susan Beckwith the other night. She loves Robert. Sort of your tagline now.
I've coined something, yeah.
Yeah. So everybody loves Robert.
Yeah, they do.
Yep. It's like the high spot of a concert, right? Just wait the whole time for it. Okay, so we are less than 2 weeks away now from the election day. And I did that event last night for Micah. Good crowd, about 100 people. They were good attendance. We had some mutual friends who were there, who will confirm the things that I'm
fundraiser
saying. Yep. And that's pretty good for a fundraiser.
100 people?
Yeah, to give you money. It wasn't just like a freebie thing. You got to, and $50 to see me. I mean, come on.
Well, it all counts, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bargain.
Sure.
Get to hang out with me for a couple hours.
Absolutely.
I will say this, and we're going to have Braun on tomorrow, and you and I think still are in agreement. I think he's going to win. I think it will, while I think it will be closer than some of the other races, I still think it will be a somewhat comfortable margin because Indiana is such a red state. You got Trump at the top of the ticket. There's so much straight ticket voting that goes on. And even those who don't straight ticket vote, okay, you're going to vote for Trump, you're going to vote for Banks, you're going to vote for Rokita, and then get to the governor's race and go, give me some of that leftism.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening, right?
Well, yeah, and we operate in central Indiana, and we hear things in central Indiana. That's just not the case. South of 40 and north of 465. With
Villeberg places, it's just not.
Yeah, it's a red state. There's no question about it. But I think the thing we need to talk about today is Republicans have to come home.
Yeah.
It's one of those issues. And you've really got to know the ballot. I voted the other day, and
how long do you have to wait?
Very little, 2 minutes. And,
really?
Yeah, and
good for you.
Hamilton County has done an outstanding job of they have a
got the vote
really
centers.
Great system for people to come in. They take your ID and make sure you are who you are. And
well, you're a celebrity now.
Well,
you're a radio broadcaster. Podcaster.
Yeah. But anyway, it was interesting. And in the line of succession with the Secretary of Education, and for everybody when they're walking into the booth, you've got to understand there's a question there. And the Secretary is not elected anymore. So they're taking that position out of the line of succession because we don't want somebody to become governor that is just appointed.
So I would say this about that campaign, that while I think Braun is going to win, and I talked about this last night, I don't think he excites people on the right. I don't think Micah is the excitement for the base of the Republican Party.
Right.
And I don't think Braun gets people super energized about voting for Republicans.
Robert, and also you got to combine it with Indiana is at the bottom of turnout.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that believe evangelicals Christians do not vote as much as others. And so it's really important for the Republican Party to come home and vote for Braun and the Republican ticket is because the reason why Indiana's been so successful for the last 20 years is because of Republicans have done the right things. Now, I really believe that Braun will become governor, but he will also clean house.
Well, and so I talked about this a little bit last night. They had me get up before Micah and do the rah-rah thing for the crowd, and I said, I think Braun will be very good on reforming government. I think $1 billion.
I believe that too.
Yeah, I think you're going to find $1 billion plus of waste in there. I think he's going to throw a whole bunch of bums out of there, people who aren't doing things the right way.
Well, it's got to operate better.
Yeah, but it's not sexy, right?
Right.
It's good to us nerds like us.
I'm policy oriented, and I believe that we've seen some second term governor situations come up that.
It's laziness and apathy.
Well, we need a filter. We need to, and if you're going to lead something, you got to know what you're going to lead. So it's very good that Braun comes in with an audit.
But the problem is, while that's cool to people like us, you got to give the regular folks a reason to be jazzed up about voting for you. And while
they're very in tune with their taxes, and they always ask, "Where are my taxes going for?
Right.
Waste."
Well, the problem with Braun. And this is you and I talked about this during the primary. We're begging any of these people to have a property tax plan. I think Braun's plan is actually pretty good. I think that reset is very fair. I think the idea of capping the growth is very fair. I think it's a pretty good plan. The problem is he kind of went begrudgingly to it, right? He doesn't have a plan during the primary. He was kind of non-committal even in the beginning about whether there should be a plan. Then Micah wins, and he's like, oh, crap. Now I got to come up with something here, right? And so then he comes up with what's a good plan. But I just think people kind of go, well, yeah, okay, but are you really passionate about it?
Right.
I think he is for universal school choice. I think they will help drive that across the finish line. That's super, super important. But again, I think people just go, what are you passionate about? I don't really see what you're super passionate about. So I'm going to vote for you, but I'm not like dragging 10 of my neighbors with me.
Right. And, we recorded State House happenings today, and I'd said to you that it would have been great if all the governor candidates that all of them had little parts of their campaign that were terrific. And everything from Suzanne Crouch with mental health issues and trying to get a handle on the state income tax to Eric Doden, who really talked up Main Street, and as well as Brad Chambers with economic development. All these candidates had points of light, if you want, stars in their campaign. It had been great if all the Republican Party would have come home and Braun would have used these campaign issues to his benefit. And I think we'd be in a lot better situation now, 2 weeks out.
Jim Merritt is here. We're talking a little bit about the election. Now, there are two things Braun has going for him. One is that Trump is at the top of that ticket, so he's going to get 57 to 60% of the vote. So you're going to start with 57 to 60% of the people in this state voting Republican. And then you got Banks, and Rokita's lucky that they put Destiny Wells, who is a wholly unlikable person and a total leftist, up against him because he could have been in trouble. But now you've got to be led to believe that people are going to vote for Trump. First of all, a lot of these people are just going to straight ticket vote and be done with it.
Absolutely.
But you're going to vote the people who don't. You're going to vote for Trump. You're going to vote for Banks. You're going to vote for Rokita, and then you get to the governor and you're like, yeah, give me some lefty.
Well, that's
not going to happen.
There's kind of a residual effect of, and we have to give Senator Braun credit. He and his staff, they did a really good job in 6 years of getting around the state.
Yeah,
he hit all 92 counties almost annually. So he has that feeling of he was very concerned in each county, and a lot of counties in the state of Indiana have no people in them.
Yeah.
I mean, very little population, and there are some very poor parts of our state that he went to, and hopefully that'll come back to help him.
Jim Merritt's here. Before I let you go, this has kind of been something we've talked about a lot on our show. I think the rainwater mailer stuff was totally fair game that the Republican state party sent out. Now, I wouldn't have used some of the language they used, but I have found this whole thing fascinating, that these liberty and freedom, government accountability people who for years have been railing against the Republicans, when they get presented with the fact that for 15 years you wouldn't have let your guy run the Little League concession stand, the excuse of Palooza pulls out. And look, we talk about this all the time on our show. Part of what we do is we hold the mirror up and make people look at what they are. And the reality is that Rainwater is arguably the most incompetent person on the state. Now, McCormick's pretty bad, but it's a close numero battle for most incompetent, right? And these liberty and freedom libertarian people, they don't want any part of it when it's their guy, but they've been doing this for years. To the other side, it's all the same, right?
Yeah, but on the other side of it, I've never seen a Republican Party in any state try to crush the libertarian.
Well, he's taking votes from them.
Yeah,
I think they realized that, hey, this guy got all those votes in 2020, being able to be a lazy candidate and just go, well, you don't have to wear a mask, and I won't close your business. And we're all happy he was there, and we're all happy he did that. But there's no effort put into that. And they're saying this guy is still taking votes from us, and it's centering around fiscal responsibility when this guy is the least fiscal responsible person of the three people on the stage. We're not letting you get away with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any polls about Rainwater or Braun versus Rainwater, but I'm here to tell you that those mailers show the Braun people in the Republican Party at the state level are concerned about Rainwater, and this late is concerning. But the bottom line is Republicans have to come home and vote for Braun.
Does that work? Do those mailers work?
I defer to somebody that's a specialist in this, but I've heard that if you have 6 or 7 of them, it drives the point home. I've heard that there'll be 3 of them, and I've seen 2, and so I don't think 3 are going to do much. It just, for us talking heads, it gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, does the average person, I mean, that's what I wonder. Don has no money. He hasn't been able to get his message out.
The average person in LaGrange County is not going to react to it.
Yeah, it's just fodder for us.
Yes, exactly.
You can find him on Twitter at Jim underline Jim underline Merritt, and the fabulous Merritt in the Morning podcast, Facebook, YouTube. What are we doing with the Merritt in the Morning podcast?
We're gonna Klopp and I are gonna have a new approach in November, and we got a great plan going.
I love it. Palace intrigue with the Merritt in the Morning Facebook and YouTube podcast. Jim Merritt, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
October is a critical time to check your home's windows. If yours are cracked or leaking and won't open or stay open, then it's time to call the pros at Window Nation. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free, plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's right, you heard me. 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months.
Proven quality and service. It's no wonder thousands have trusted Window Nation. Don't miss out. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
She was a Democrat, then she became an independent, and now she has announced that she is joining the Republican Party. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Okay, you're rolling your eyes, so we have to discuss this. Here is Tulsi Gabbard's official announcement that she's joining the Republican Party.
And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
Okay, so big switch, right?
So there's a huge difference between saying I support us not being in any ill-begotten foreign wars. I support Donald Trump because he has been the greatest peacetime president since Reagan. I support Trump because I believe he will protect our troops and our foreign policy and our robust national defense without immense cost and lives being lost. All those things are fine. But that's a huge leap to say now I'm a member of the Republican Party, because on all the social stuff, she is in direct conflict with the Republican Party. So, like, what is the Republican Party anymore? What is the Republican Party?
It's supposed to be, what, fiscally conservative, small
No.
government?
What is it supposed to be? What is it?
What is
Based
it?
on governance, what is the Republican Party now?
It's telling you we're going to have limited government, but then spending a lot with government.
It's one thing to say, I am aligning myself with Donald Trump, which she's doing, and that's fine. That's wonderful. But what are you signing up with now as a member of the Republican Party? What are you joining forces for? And I mean, you know, obviously any person's able. I mean, you are a long-standing Democrat. Well, not long-standing, but you are a Democrat member of Congress. You've had these deeply held beliefs, and now you're a member of the Republican Party because of Trump. Well, Trump's not even really a Republican,
right? So
what are we doing here?
Trump's his own thing. Well, is she leveraging the current political climate to position herself?
Well, of course she is.
Yes, there it is.
I mean, look, there are very few truly altruistic people remaining in our society. People who genuinely are doing it for love of country or love of neighbor. She may genuinely, and I think she does, believe that Donald Trump is the best choice for president. But come on, lady.
Do you think that her saying she's a Republican, it means more now when she endorses Donald Trump because she's part of the party?
I think it means less.
It's a tactical shift, clearly.
I mean, I think it means less, right? I mean, I don't understand how you can have all of these beliefs that are in direct contrast with the party that you're claiming to join still holding and say you're a part of that party. I don't know. I mean, look, she's what we call a pocket person, right? She is a pocket of people, just like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a pocket of people, like Antonio Brown is a pocket of people. Some pockets are bigger than others, but what he's doing is he's taking all of these pockets of people and compounding them together to try to create a coalition that will get him across the finish line. The problem for the Republicans is Donald Trump doesn't actually care about the Republican Party. Donald Trump would have been whatever he had to be the president of the United States. It just so happens that the opportunity, and I think the majority of his beliefs in the current world, fell in line with the Republican Party more so than the Democrat Party. And this is the problem the Republicans have now. Nobody knows what they stand for. Nobody knows what they are.
Well, it's definitely a shift away from Johnson or Graham or McConnell, right? When you're talking about Gabbard and Musk and Ramaswamy instead.
Yeah, but the problem is the McConnells of the world and whatever underachiever is going to replace him and the Todd Youngs and the Mike Johnsons, that's the power structure of the party. Trump is like some outlier in the party. He's not actually the power structure of the party. The power structure of the party is in direct contrast with Donald Trump.
So Kamala Harris had a big interview on NBC. She had to take the day off to get prepared for it.
Very hard.
Yeah, we're going to review some of that coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get through the day. Hi, it's Phoebe with the Good Feet Store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real Good Feet Store customer who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse like Donna or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet Store. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood, just off the 65. Learn more at goodfeet.com. Good Feet Arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book an appointment for your free personalized fitting at goodfeet.com or just stop in. Walk-ins are welcome. Helping people live pain-free, 2 feet at a time.
Jennifer McCormick couldn't name a single thing she disagreed with Hillary Clinton on. That's because, just like Hillary, McCormick backed failed liberal policies. She endorsed Bidenomics, said she'd be honored to serve in Biden's administration. She opposed school choice, and she even supports biological boys playing girls' sports.
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
I did vote for Hillary Clinton. She had some great, world foreign policy experience. So, I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
It gets worse. Here's what Jennifer McCormick says about Donald Trump.
I cannot get behind that. Never voted for Trump, never will vote for Trump, never was behind Trump, never will be behind Trump. I just cannot get behind a party who is behind that type of leadership. To me, it's nonsensical.
Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. The BX Series is the =1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. The versatile lineup is built to help you make the most of your land. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or save up to $3,100. Now through November 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like Stevenson Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how the state says that their case is solid against Richard Allen in the Delphi murders trial. Plus, it's pretty dry out there. And be sure to claim your tickets that are now on sale for the next Indianapolis 500. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. After Fox News Radio, you're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Harris to Pennsylvania. Trump to Georgia. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Those are two of the toss-up states 13 days before the election, though more than 20 million Americans have already voted early.
Both sides are ramping up their get-out-the-vote efforts right now. Former President Trump told Fox's Brian Kilmeade that he's actually going to go out and vote early to try to set a good example for his base. And you can hear that interview today on Kilmeade's radio show.
That interview about to start on Fox News Radio in a few minutes. Fox's Aisha Hasni also reports from Duluth, Georgia, where the former president will rally tonight.
Trump is also taping an interview with podcast giant Joe Rogan. Meanwhile, the Democrats are getting the help from the boss. No, not Joe Biden. Bruce Springsteen will do a concert series in battleground states. The first one is tomorrow at a rally in Atlanta. It's headlined by Harris and Obama.
The former president campaigned for the vice president in Wisconsin, then Michigan last night.
America's ready to turn the page. We're ready for a better story.
Vice President Harris will have a town hall near Philadelphia tonight. Back to that Trump-Brian Kilmeade interview.
How would you like to be Israel and wake up and find out that all of your various plans on attacking Iran have been leaked to the media and to the world? And this can only happen to this administration.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin calls that leak very serious, but no Defense Department employee is under investigation. Austin also confirms that North Korea has sent soldiers to Russia, and South Korea warns they'll be fighting in Ukraine.
Austin says North Korea's entry into the war in Ukraine would be very serious.
And it will have impacts not only in Europe, it will also impact things in the Indo-Pacific as well.
The Biden administration has warned for months of a deepening military partnership between Russia and North Korea, accusing Pyongyang of supplying weapons to Moscow.
As Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, the U.S. and our allies are working on a $50 billion loan for Ukraine backed by frozen Russian assets. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They say they have a case. Radar is clear. It's partly cloudy, 63 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The state of Indiana says Richard Allen's confessions and the cartridge found on scene are enough to put him away for the Delphi murders.
But the defense team says DNA and hard data can tell a different story. I'm Donnie Burgess. Sexual assault kits were completed for murdered Delphi teenagers Abigail Williams and Liberty German, as confirmed by a crime scene investigator in court Tuesday. Strands and fibers were collected from the girls' bodies, but multiple investigators have now testified to being unaware of any DNA linking suspect Richard Allen to the crime scene. Allen faces 4 counts of murder. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana is having the driest month of October in over a century. Still, some places got a little rain last night.
Places like Lafayette and up towards Kokomo, those areas did see some very isolated light rain showers and actually a few rumbles of thunder as well.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service, who says none of the rain was enough to do anything meaningful in helping the state out of a moderate drought. He sold a woman drugs and she ended up dying from them. That's the charge against Alfredi Peterson Jr. in Hamilton County. Court documents say that Hannah Field bought pills from Peterson back in February that were laced with fentanyl. When she took them, she OD'd and died. Peterson was arrested this week. The annual FFA convention has begun in Indianapolis. This is the 97th year that the convention has taken place. Tickets are now on sale for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. IMS President Doug Bowles says the renewal process for current ticket holders between May and now has been staggering.
Renewals just continue to get better and better and better. Our renewals have been the best renewal that we've ever had, even better than 2016 for the 100th runnings.
He also says infield camping will be returning for the Sancio Grand Prix weekend. Tickets and camping information all at the IMS website. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite. This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WYBC.
Well, good morning. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 5 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WYBC. So this new poll came out. It was from USA Today and Suffolk University, and it says that Trump leads Latinos by 11 points nationally. 49% to 38%. So, Rob, you're married to someone of Latino descent.
That's correct. My Hispanic wife.
Yes. Does she agree with this? Have you guys talked about this at all?
No. She's been very focused on the Sarah Boone trial. Sarah Boone's the lady that locked her boyfriend in the suitcase, and that she's been waiting. That trial's been going on, or that case has been going on as long as we've been together. So 4.5 years, she is consumed by that. It's like her Delphi, right? So that's all she's been the past 3 or 4 days. So we have not had a chance to get into how the fellow Hispanics are very. And when you think about
how her community feels.
Well, you think about diversity, Casey, and there. I mean, I get it called the is and the phobes and everything else, but you think about the diversity in my life, and no one really loves diversity more than me. I mean, I am married to a Hispanic woman. I work with a woman, and one of my best friends, Abdul, is black. I mean, you think about the diversity that encompasses my daily existence. Nobody celebrates inclusion and diversity like me.
More than you.
But look, the Democrats, and they've gotten away with this for years, is they have been all in on this. I mean, it's actually like super racist and insensitive, which is that all Hispanics would be super interested in mass, large-scale illegal immigration. And that's nuts, right? I mean, the idea that people who are in this country legally, who just happen to be Hispanic, would want people to come into the country illegally. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And now the condition of the country has gotten so bad that you see Hispanics in mass moving away from the Democrats. Now, another reason that Hispanics are moving away from the Democrats, other than their super racist, insulting position on immigration, is Hispanics tend to be culturally very conservative. It's the same reason Arab Americans are moving away from the Democrats. And when you're doing this LGBTQ mafia stuff and trans this and men in the women's restrooms and men playing women's sports and all of these things, these groups of minority voters who are culturally conservative look at this and go, not if you're going to shove it in my face. And that's what the Democrats do. They shove this stuff in people's faces, and you're seeing the polling showing they're moving away from the Democrats.
Yeah, well, not only culturally conservative, but I think, religion plays a big part in that community as well. And Latino men and women, I don't feel like they appreciate that Kamala Harris is mocking their Catholic faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right to their faces as well. Not showing up to that Al Smith dinner. One of her big supporters, Gretchen Whitmer, doing that feeding Dorito bit, whatever it was, that cringy thing. I think that's very offensive to a lot of people who put that as a centerpiece to their life.
Now, you and Kev are the resident Catholics of the show. So I would be curious. I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Kevin. Were you offended by the Gretchen Whitmer Dorito bit?
Yeah, I was.
As a Catholic?
Yeah.
Were your fellow Catholics offended?
I'm
Did you
assuming
call?
so. I mean,
is there some sort of Facebook group where you can
write the phone tree? What did you think of that? What did you think of that? No, I think as a group, yes, everything you saw, there was a lot of backlash. I mean, she came out and apologized for it.
Yeah.
Because of the backlash.
And then it's always the excuse, right? Oh, I was promoting the CHIPS Act.
I know. Like anybody believes that.
Kev, you went, not only are you a practicing Catholic, you went to the Catholic school.
Well, I did grow up Catholic. I'm kind of a lapsed Catholic now.
It's in a dormant state.
It's in a dormant state.
Yeah. I wasn't offended by it. I just thought it was confusing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
odd.
that would be a great description of Gretchen Whitmer. I'm not offended by you. I'm just confused.
Well, Donald Trump was hosting a Latinos for Trump event, and they prayed over him. And then the CEO of Sunshine Gasoline Distributors, his name is Max Alvarez, he had something to say about Donald Trump.
Without a doubt, that the first day that we elect Mr. Donald J. Trump, our next president, the first day in office, I guarantee you he will solve half of the problems that we have. The most important. Most important.
Now,
On
will
November
Donald
5th,
Trump solve half of the problems they have on his first day in office?
Well, that might be a bit of a stretch.
You think so?
But, I mean, look, part of voting is hope and optimism. Part of an engagement with the voters is the idea of making them believe in what your vision for whatever the thing is. It's a big reason Trump won in 2016. He gave a vision. It appealed to a large group of people in those blue wall states, and Hillary Clinton offered no vision. And Trump is great at making you see an end game.
Or making you believe there's an end game.
Right.
Yeah.
And then getting you to believe that he's a person who can get you to that point or get society or whatever to that point.
So Kamala Harris had a sit down with NBC. Did you watch it? I know you didn't. You were busy.
I was busy last night.
You got to pass.
I was working for my country.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy.
It was everything you thought it was going to be.
Liberty and freedom in the state
She
of
was
Indiana.
exhausted, She had to take a day off.
Is she turning into Biden?
From campaigning so that she could prepare for this interview where she lied and lied and lied.
Isn't this wild? So I've felt like this the way I feel about debates. You should know by now you're running for president. Here are my views on things. And you're running for president to the point where you should be able to, off the top of your head, facts, figures, whatever, on the core issues, the key issues. The fact that you can't just sit down and start rolling with these people is alarming.
Well, she was repeatedly denying that she was engaged in any sort of cover-up around Biden's cognitive decline.
But they're going after Trump for the same thing now.
Right. Well, sure.
They're very concerned.
Because that's what narcissists do. They blame you for things that they're guilty of, right?
They're super concerned about Trump's cognitive decline. And yet Biden, hey, everything is all is well.
So here she is insisting that she was honest with Americans.
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
You never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates.
Kev, I'm going to do a little exercise here with Casey. This is why our show's #1. Can you play the beginning of that again for me? And then I'm going to tell Casey if this is not exactly how Kamala Harris sounds.
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone.
Casey, have you ever had a single male friend who you asked you to hook? You said, "Hey, do you have any single women friends?" And you suggest a friend, and this is a hard segment for me to do because I don't notice people's appearances anymore. But an average person might believe that person is not well assembled, and then you say, yeah,
she's got a great personality.
Kimmy is available, and the guy goes, okay, is she hot?
And you try to, well, she's beautiful hair, has a great personality.
So now let's play Kamala Harris again, but instead of talking about Joe Biden, let's pretend that she is describing one of her friends who is not well assembled.
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want.
That's totally it, isn't it? She was trying to convince one of her guy friends to go out with her other friend who he knows. She knows he's not going to find
She's trying to convince herself as well.
I mean, yeah, she's a little well-fed, but I mean, curves are in these days.
She's got talent. She's very accomplished. Her career is amazing.
She's a great person to sit down and have a conversation.
Okay, well, let's flash back. We're going to flash back all the way to June of this year. And this is one of your favorite clips. I know it is. This is Joe Biden freezing up and appearing confused while mumbling something during a press conference.
And Homeland Security Secretary, I'm not sure going to introduce you all the way.
Is that the one where we played Olivia?
Yeah, and she was doing the same noise. Your 1-year-old daughter made the same noise as the President of the United States.
Hey, by the way,
but he's great. President's fine.
Speaking of my kid, we had a big day the other day.
I saw breaking news, and you know what? I was a little hurt that I had to find that out on the internet and not in person. However, I was out of town, so not your fault. You've moved on from VeggieTales.
Yeah, so we are now into Sesame Street. Now, this is old school Sesame Street. Like, we're not any of the woke current stuff. Like, we're very adamant we not do that. So we are now have moved away from VeggieTales into 1980s Sesame Street. Here is the advantage of having a mother who was an educator. So my mom, and look at the brilliant son that she raised.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like growing up, like
she's so proud.
90% of the parenting that created this intellectual mega giant was thanks to my mother. And so my mother is demanding the same level of excellence with my daughter. And so while we feel like we've been doing a pretty good job, my mother is harping on all the areas where Olivia is not Beethoven yet. And so she's like, Olivia's saying some words. No, she should be saying this. She should be doing this. What? You're only reading 1 book a day? There should be 9 books a day that should be being read.
I was just going to ask you, are you reading to her every night?
Well, we are reading more now, thanks to my mother, who demands excellence.
Yeah.
And she was like, that VeggieTale stuff is not helping her learn to talk because those characters talk too fast and their mouths don't move right. You need to be playing Sesame Street with the numbers and the fruits and the puppets. And I'm telling you, Mom was spot on. She loves the Sesame Street. So we are off. Praise the Lord, I'm off Larry Cucumber. Thank you, Mom.
You'll forever have the songs implanted in your brain,
no
though.
more Bob the Tomato or Laura Carrot or Archibald Asparagus.
Does she have a favorite Sesame Street character?
She is
I loved Bert and Ernie.
Well, we just started 2 days ago, but anything that involves the puppets, she's very... And the thing that is encouraging to me is when you go to YouTube and you play the old Sesame Streets, it starts with the song. And as soon as that song comes on, boom, she is engaged.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you.
So I'll be ready.
Thank you, Rob's
I'll
mom.
be ready to strangle Grover 6 months from now.
Probably. And then you'll move on to something else. I can't wait until you get to Baby Shark era. Okay, so you had an event last night. We need to talk about that. And we've got some more of these clips of Kamala Harris being atrocious on NBC last night. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Sadly, people don't carry cash anymore.
I don't carry cash. No. It's better, especially if you live in a metropolitan area, that you don't have to carry cash.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, men carry cash, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop it.
So how much cash do you have on you right now?
Nothing. None. No. Don't need it. I'm digital, man. Man.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Mark from Danville had to say about working with Mark Deedle. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. The Mark Deedle team was my answer. My home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price.
Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you. Hey, it's Robin. I've put my name behind Garage Doors of Indianapolis for the past 7 years because they're a local conservative company that does quality work on time. In many ways, Garage Doors of Indianapolis is the perfect Hoosier. Recently, they helped my family in a garage door pinch by arriving on site quickly and fixing the problem right away. For all of your garage door needs, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 317-875-4577. 317-875-4577. Or visit them at doorstoday.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Get ready to shake it off before the big show. Get your tickets to the Fearless Karaoke Brunch Fest at Nevermore Downtown on November 2nd and 3rd from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. with a themed buffet, bottomless cocktails, and endless fun. Sing your heart out with karaoke. Create friendship bracelets and compete in our costume contest. Tickets start at $40 for the buffet or upgrade to the boozy brunch for $75, including unlimited mimosas, sangria, and Bloody Marys. All ages welcome. Tickets at swiftbrunchfest.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
So they billed it as a evening of fun in honor of Micah Beckwith, nominee for lieutenant governor. So you were there. Was it fun? Was it fun?
Oh, I had a blast. A lot of WIBC listeners, of course, were there. Great to meet with many of them. They had kind of asked me to come in and get the crowd all riled up before Micah's fired up, whatever word you want to use, before Micah's big speech. And basically, this was kind of just a way for him to raise a few bucks to make sure that he can get where he needs to go over the final couple of weeks of the campaign. So put on some clothes that fit, and the wife and I went out to Noblesville, and we had a great time.
Yeah, so you had James Bopp was there, and Daniel Elliott, Elise Nishala was there, and Micah was there. You were there.
All the esteemed members of society, the dignitaries, and then me. I mean, it was like I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of those events in Caddyshack, right, or the Uncle Fester. But look, I think it's an interesting year in politics in this state because, and we've been candid with this, whether it's Merritt or Abdul or whatever, one of the pitfalls of Braun not running an aggressive primary, and let's face it, he didn't really run an aggressive primary, he didn't really run much of anything other than I'm endorsed by Trump, and we talked about that on the air at the time, is he didn't lay out a clear vision for the state. It wasn't elect me and I will A, B, C, and D. And you and I have talked about this a million times, that when you're a candidate, you need to pick 3 or 4 things, and you're going to ride that horse till it doesn't ride anymore, and you're going to live or die on those 3 or 4 things. And Braun, because he didn't have to, didn't wade into really any specifics on anything and wins that primary on the power of I'm the Trump guy. Then the primary's over, and I think he had anticipated that his choice for lieutenant governor was going to be the one that was going to win. Clearly, the voters of Indiana, the base of the Republican Party, I should say, said, nah, you didn't really lay out a vision for us, and we're not just going to just trust that you'll figure it out. And they went with Micah as sort of, hey, this guy is passionate about liberty, about freedom. He's passionate about things like property taxes. He's passionate about school choice. And we want to make sure there's somebody in there who is passionate. And that has kind of played out in the campaign, where if you look at where the passion is in the events, it's more for Micah from the grassroots than it is Braun, because I think the kind of perception with Braun, by not laying out a clear vision, is that he has not been fired up about doing these things. He has a great property tax plan. His property tax plan is, I would give it an A after the adjustment, right? Clearly, it had some problems in the beginning. Right. I think in terms of saving people money, look, if you want to save $500 to $1,000 a year, his plan's going to do it. If you want to ensure that growth going forward, we don't get back in this position again, his plan is going to do it. If you want to get out of property taxes down the road altogether, his plan is a great starting point for 3 or 4 years from now if J.D. Prescott can continue to build momentum on his bill. His plan on school choice is wonderful. It puts parents 100% in charge of your kid's education. It will hold public schools accountable. It's great. Mike Braun will do a great job as a business guy cleaning up Holcomb's mess that he's left behind with unaccountable state government, because Mike Braun, I think, is fired up about that. But the problem is he has not articulated any of that stuff with a passion or a fervor that makes you super passionate or fired up about voting for him. So while I think he'll do a good job, and obviously he has our support, I think he has struggled to capture the enthusiasm, say, that a Donald Trump is going to have at the top of the ticket.
Okay, so you have been a very vocal advocate for Hoosiers about the way the past Republican Party has been running the state of Indiana. How were you received at this event last night?
Well, very well, because a lot of the people there, look, the power of this program is indisputable. And those politicians recognize it, even the ones that hate us. Now, I'm not saying the people there did last night, but I'm saying they recognize the power of this program, because we are the voice of the people. We are the pulse of the people. You look at the ratings. The ratings are incredible. And that's an attribute to our audience, right? We're just the people here. But they recognize the audience, the voice, the numbers. They know what they are. They know how well we're doing. And so even if you don't like us, you got to respect the power of the audience behind that. And I think there's a recognition that we're entering a new phase of the Republican Party. Braun is going to win. Now, I don't think they've run a great campaign. I think they've struggled on some things, but it's a Republican state. Jennifer McCormick is a total leftist radical. You've got Trump at the top of the ticket. You've got straight ticket Republican voting. And I think people recognize, if you want your property taxes fixed, if you want this issue resolved, Mike Braun is the only way to go. If you want to be in control of your kids' education, Mike Braun is the only way to go. If you want the government cleaned up, Mike Braun is the only way to go. I mean, Jennifer McCormick's not going to do any of that stuff. And so I think it's taken a while, but I think we're getting to the point where people are starting to come to that realization, and a vote is a vote, right? A vote is a vote, whether it's the most passionate vote in the world or it's I got to do it, right? And Trump being there is helping. And I think the same thing about Banks and Rokita, right? I don't think anybody's super passionate. You don't see people out with Jim Banks signs in every yard, or you don't see people with Todd Rokita. Actually, I do see more Rokita signs than anybody. But if everybody's like, the idea of this Democrat momentum or whatever is laughable to me. So you think people are going to vote for Trump? They're going to vote for Banks. Mm-hmm. They're going to vote for Rokita. And the best gift to Braun was that Destiny Wells is such a horrible, horrible candidate that people are going to vote for Rokita, and then they're going to get to governor, and they're going to go, give me some of that radical leftism. Mm-hmm. No, it's not going to happen.
And so is this what you talked about last night?
Talked about the need for people to be not complacent, for the need for the people in the room to say, hey, you've got to stay vigilant. You've got to continue to work through Election Day. You can't take it for granted, and you've got to ensure that people get out and vote.
Yeah.
And people get out and vote. Look, There's so many, and I know we got to get to the news with Kurt, but I just want to say this. There have been so many people that have been mad at me about not supporting the Libertarian this time. And here's my answer to those people. No one has given more to the Libertarian. I'm a registered Republican in good standing, and yet no one has given more to the Libertarian Party the past 7 years than me. Nobody has given these people, no matter how boring or wacky or ridiculous they are, no matter how many radios got turned off in the process.
A platform,
than me.
on the show, yeah.
And what did it get?
Yeah.
It got nothing. You had one guy, Rainwater, who did decent one time because of a single issue. The party isn't any stronger.
Right.
They aren't any more organized. They aren't fundraising any better. I have given everything to you people.
That was on them to pick up the ball and run with it, and they did not.
Right. I gave everything to you people for 7 years, and you did nothing on your own, and now you're mad at me because I say I got to try a new tack in order to try to get this property tax stuff fixed. Because you guys aren't holding up your end of the... It's just unbelievable, the lack of self-ownership from the Libertarian Party.
Well, we did get a phone call about Jim Banks and also Rainwater. So those are coming up with your voicemails on 93 WIBC.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting closer. Radar is clear. It's sunny and 66 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. There are less than 2 weeks to go until Election Day. Former President Trump is headed to the battleground state of Georgia for a town hall this afternoon, and then will hold a rally later tonight. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris will be in Pennsylvania to hold a town hall hosted by CNN. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is at the Vatican meeting with the Pope after he recently visited Ukraine again.
While he was there, he was provided evidence by President Zelensky and others that North Korea is sending thousands of North Korean soldiers to train and fight with Russia in Ukraine. Just before meeting the Pope for a private audience this morning at the Vatican to discuss the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, Austin confirmed for the first time that U.S. intelligence has seen evidence and will release satellite images soon.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. The NBA season starts tonight for the Indiana Pacers. They're in the Motor City to face the Detroit Pistons. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
To learn more, eligible members call 87 Pathway 4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. Create your dream engagement ring and browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts. From diamond studs, tennis bracelets, birthstone necklaces, and more. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company knows how to work with your budget, not against it. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you concerned about rising property taxes? My name is Donald Rainwater,
Libertarian candidate for governor in Indiana. My plan would limit your property taxes to 1% of the purchase price of your property. It would never increase, and it would end once you've paid for 7 years. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Phone number 317-684-8444. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and this is the portion of your voicemails. We turn it over to you and hear what is on your mind. This first phone call is about Jim Banks.
I mean, Jim Banks. Does Jim Banks really care? No. I don't think that he does. He cares to become senator, but I don't think he cares. He doesn't have enough guts to stand up for anything in Congress. He missed the vote on McCarthy. I mean, a million things on, and that's just him. And we know Todd Young's a total fraud.
So Jim Banks still has not debated, correct?
I don't. Is he campaigning? I mean, I've seen some TV ads. I mean, what's he doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and my point to people on this is, if someone will not for 1 hour, so there's 3 people on the stage in a debate because of libertarian. If a guy will not stand on a stage for 1 hour, which means he's got to talk for probably 25 minutes. 25 minutes, he won't do it.
Yeah.
What sort of accountability do you think you're going to get from that person in Washington, D.C.?
Well, obviously he doesn't think he has to debate.
Well, he doesn't have to. He's going to win. But that's my point, is he's going to win because he knows people are going to vote for him no matter what. And then we look at ourselves and go, gee, I wonder why we have such horrible representation in Washington. We don't hold these people accountable.
Okay, so we're going to have Banks and Young. That's what we're looking at.
Look, all I'm going to say about Jim Banks is, in case I think you were here for this, one time when I asked Abdul, is Jim Banks a part of the establishment? What did he do? He leaned back and he just laughed and laughed and laughed, right? Jim Banks talks a good game, but this is the same guy who voted for Kevin McCarthy 15 times, and he won't stand up on a stage and hold himself. How could you vote for someone who cares so little about you that they will not say, here's my plans, here's why my plans are better than the other people's plans? 25 minutes. We talk for 3 hours, 5 days a week. He can't do it for 25 minutes?
I really wish he would come on the program. I know he won't.
No, of course not.
But I wish he would. So let's invite him on the show.
Well, I actually talked to a guy that's going to be, I mean, they're already planning their staff and stuff because he's going to win. I talked to a guy last night who's going to be working for Banks, and I told him, I said, I'm happy to have this sit down and have this conversation with Jim Banks. He knows how it's going to go. I mean, he knows what I'm going to say to him. That's not going to change. I'm not going to get in person in front of him and say, I was kind of wrong about that. No, the way Jim Banks has handled himself the last couple of years is embarrassing. The way all those votes for Kevin McCarthy and I mean, the refusal that you should never, ever, I don't care what party a person is, you should never vote for someone who will not debate.
Okay, here's a phone call. This one is about, it's not really about Don Rainwater. It's about somebody else because you're off of Don Rainwater.
All right, Rob, now that you're done on the Rainwater trail, maybe you can get back to Mouthy Matt and his minions. Need to check into them.
Okay.
What else do you want me to do?
Tell you about Matt Gentry.
Yeah, what else is there to say at this point, right? I mean, that LEAP district is
happening.
It's everything that's wrong with government. It's there's the transparency, the way the system, we'll do all this. What about water? Yeah, we'll figure that out later. Oh, we'll just take it from Tippecanoe County. Oh, then they push back. Okay, then we'll come up with some sweetheart deal with this water manufacturer. Oh, and then we'll tap into money that is from the federal government that's designed for drinking water. Yeah, but that's not drinking water. Yeah, but you could drink it. It's available to be drank, but it's not being used for. the LEAP district, the IEDC is everything that's wrong with government. What else is there to say? You people in Lebanon are going to have to fire this guy when he's up for re-election. I mean, that's really the only thing that can be said at this point.
Have we asked Mike Braun about his plans for IEDC?
Yeah, so one of the times he was in here, and it's just so hard when you got, 15 minutes or whatever, but one of the times he talked about, and I think there's some logic to this. One, first of all, the reporting requirements have got to change, and Mike has talked about that at length.
Right.
You got to get more transparency in the IEDC so you know where your dollars go, and so you know how to judge as a taxpayer what ROI am I getting for my investment. And then he's talked about getting that money to the rest of the state. There's very poor counties in the state. There's very rural counties in the state who desperately need an infusion of something to keep sustainability going. And it would be a much better use of that money to give those people an opportunity to have a leg up rather than just continue to pump everything into just, 9 counties in central Indiana.
Okay, so Mike Braun's going to join us tomorrow morning.
That's what they said.
Yeah, maybe if we have time, I'll ask him about that. Okay, here's another phone call, and this one is about what's going on in Delphi with the trial.
And you guys were talking about the stature of the gentleman being charged, Richard Allen. So to me, one of the easiest ways to do this would be to take the pictures we have of him from their phone and look at how far up that his body, that railing on the bridge goes, and then have him stand out there about the same position and see where it goes on him.
Okay, so I have to tell you, after being out of town, that Donnie Burgess has been doing a phenomenal job of reporting on what's going on in Delphi with that trial. It's been an amazing way to keep up to date, and the pool reporting as well, because, these are very competitive people in the industry who want to have the information and not give it up. But because of the pool reporting, they're having to do that. And it's been somewhat incredible to watch all of these reporters work together on this because they want to get the information correct as they put it out to everybody.
We had Donnie on, was it yesterday? All these days run together. Yeah, I think it was yesterday because Ethan was here. And, unless there is some smoking gun that's going to be revealed in the time the prosecution has left, there's nothing that you've seen.
Yeah, no DNA. The witnesses describe...
Doesn't look anything like him.
Bridge guy, completely different.
It doesn't look anything like him. This is an embarrassment. The state of Indiana, the people who did this investigation, the fact that this prosecutor went forward with the case, these people should all, and they've essentially had the ref. It's like playing a football game and having the ref being on your team because the judge has been totally one-sided in almost every single ruling. She clearly hates those defense attorneys, and you have all of this in your favor. And this is all you had?
Yeah, it's mostly horrible for the family.
It is.
The state just wanted to have somebody so they can wrap it up and put this to bed.
But how did they think that the public was going to be like, oh yeah, that's totally the guy? Like what about this guy did they think? The only thing they've got are these confessions, which to me, and who knows how they'll get presented to the jury, are the ramblings of a tortured, delusional human being who just wanted his life basically to end.
Or he just wanted it to stop the madness for his family.
Yeah, he was allegedly held in these horrible conditions, and everybody involved in this investigation and case should be totally ashamed of themselves and totally embarrassed unless there is some smoking gun somewhere that has not been revealed yet that we're going to see later on in this trial. But if it existed...
It seems to me reasonable doubt was cast on it on day one.
He's not the guy on the bridge. It's not even close. It's not like, well, it could be him. The guy's 5'4", Casey. I'm 5'8". That means he's 4 inches shorter than me. You see me, I'm a short person. This is almost... The guy's almost, it's like Danny DeVito running around or something. Like if Danny DeVito were bridge guy, wouldn't you know... Hey, that was Danny DeVito, right? The guy's 5'4". Come on.
Yeah, but excellent reporting from Donnie Burgess. Definitely follow him on X.
I think Danny DeVito is technically shorter than 5'4", but you get what I'm saying, right?
I do get what you're saying. Okay, one last phone call, and this is about the Ball State professor.
Listened about the Ball State professor you're talking about, and I almost thought when you first talked about it, he was some liberal arts weirdo woke person. but he's a freaking economist. What in the heck is that deal? When he's saying things like that, obviously we need to watch where we're sending our kids to school, because if that's who they have as the economist for Ball State, and his idea of economy is racism, I think the boy's missing something. And maybe he needs to go back to school for what he actually studied. Because if he thinks his economy is great and he thinks that Donald Trump's the problem, this is why you don't send your kids to that school, to that teacher. He's an idiot. He is a freaking idiot, and we pay too many thousands of dollars to this idiot to tell our kids weird stuff. I can't even believe he's in papers and stuff because, yeah, it's just unbelievable.
So give me some background on this. This happened.
So Michael Hicks, and this guy is a super liberal Ball State economist. Who, I mean, I've been staring in amazement in this guy's horrible opinions for years. I mean, even back before I was here. I mean, I would see these things when I was in local government, and it was like, what fantasy island are you living on where this is how any of this works or would work? And he's a real nasty dude. And this guy is, this is where you're sending your kids. He, some woman, I think she was from Florida, tweeted out, and I'll just read the tweet. I am learning while I knock on doors that when people tell me they are voting for Trump because of the economy, they're really telling me they're voting for Trump because of white supremacy. And she goes on with this thread about this. And this Michael Hicks guy at Ball State retweeted and said, this is the type of tweet that used to infuriate me. It seems so simplistic, judgmental, and unforgiving. But having experienced it so often, I see its truth. And so what this guy's saying is that if you're a Trump voter, so me,
you're using the economy as an excuse
to cover your racism.
Oh,
you are actually, it's not the economy. It's not that you want better wages. It's not that you want food or gas to be affordable. It's not that, you're very concerned about 15 million people potentially, who knows what the actual number is, illegally coming into the country. It's not, you're concerned about us sending hundreds of billions of dollars to countries that don't like us. None of that. It's that you're a white supremacist. And I haven't heard a word. No, Ball State hasn't commented on this. Ball State hasn't condemned this. Ball State hasn't suspended this guy. So I guess if you send your kid to Ball State, they are in agreement with Michael Hicks that if you're a Trump voter or your kid, how would your kid get a fair shot if your kid supports Donald Trump, if you know that this guy is so little, he's so unafraid of being held accountable that he says it out loud. It's one thing to think it.
Yeah.
He says it out loud.
Well, that's why there's many students who game the system and direct their papers to a way that will get them a good grade. It's not what they believe; it's what they think is needed to be heard in order to get a good grade. And by the way, isn't that how we started the hour? You're married to...
I'm married to a Hispanic, yes.
And your
Hispanic woman.
Your best friend is...
Black, yes.
Yeah, and you work...
Yeah, I work with a woman, yeah. But I'm a white supremacist.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Hammer's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, 3:06. The latest Delphi update. And then we'll also have Donnie Burgess, Guy Relford, Tony Kennett. We are locked and loaded, baby. 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Need a new work truck? Need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, Transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest rates as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at andymoreford.com. They'll come pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. andymoreford.com.
Piece of gold, peace of mind. That's why so many concerned Americans are adding gold to their portfolios. At American Bullion, we pioneered a fast and secure gold IRA process and can help you learn about and protect your current IRA or old 401k with the proven value of gold and silver. With dangerously rising unrest around the world, volatility in the economy, and upcoming elections, it's more critical than ever to consider protecting your portfolio with a gold IRA rollover. At American Bullion, our experienced team is here to guide you from A to Z. We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Don't wait. Make the call. Protect your IRA or old 401k with our hassle-free and tax-free process. Call American Bullion today for your free gold guide and learn about all your options. Call 800-456-7475. That's 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, the credit card bill came and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by for a few weeks.
We should do what my brother did. He went to billshappen.com and got $3,000 the next day.
With our bad credit, I don't think so.
Billshappen.com is different. They are one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope, my brother said it was easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. Bills Happen's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to billshappen.com, and we will have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
It's October and the weather is changing. And if you want in on a little secret, October is the best time to buy new windows. Fixing your old windows before winter is a priority. Call who I called, Window Nation.
For every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 for free. And there's no limit. So think about how much you could save, and your house will look better. Your heating and air bills will be lower because these windows are energy efficient. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Are you tired of party politics? John Schmitz puts people over party politics. Schmitz will serve you and not the Washington, D.C. lobbyists. A vote for John Schmitz sends a message to all politicians that they serve you and only you. Vote early or wait until November 5th to vote for John Schmitz so he can start working for you. Schmitz can happen, but only with your vote. So cast your vote for John Schmitz. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message. Paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
When it's all over, join WIBC and Tony Katz for Understanding the Election in 3 Bourbons, presented by Premier Arms on Thursday, November 14th. Enjoy bourbon, cigars, hors d'oeuvres, expert analysis, and plenty of laughs. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at WIBC.com.
There he is from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
It's good to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
We
I
missed
you.
your smile.
Did
we
you?
missed your athletic thighs. We missed your lovely voice.
Hey, I thought about you at that Tennessee game. What a great game for you to be at.
Man, that was, again, the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. I've been to a bunch of games down in Neyland, but those 3rd and 4th downs late in the game against Bama, it was like when Trump used to do those chopper pressers. Say it! Say it! Like you could not hear the person next to you. Like your ears were ringing. It was that loud. And yeah,
what a fun experience for you and the boys. But the dude kept saying, Hammer's there at that game. And I just looked at him and said, yeah, and you're in Baltimore.
Like that scene in Wayne's World. Hi, I'm in Delaware. Just substitute Delaware for Baltimore.
Right.
So we got a new podcast out.
Yes, new Degenerates Next Door. The college football edition is live. This is the bounce back edition, right? Sometimes you get knocked down, you pick yourself back up. 5-0 one week, 0-5 the next. Here we go. But last night there was a we call it the Destiny Wells pick. So
explain.
So there was a game last night between Sam Houston and Florida International being played at Pitbull Stadium down in South Florida, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, it's been renamed.
It was Miami Vice Night. Everybody was dressed like Don Johnson. It was a great thing. But the thing is, I said this on the podcast, Sam Houston's quarterback was banged up. He got knocked out of the previous game. And he's really good. He's their, obviously, leading passer, but he's also their leading rusher. He's an all-around dude. If he does not play, do not bet that game. Abort. Abort. That's why we called it the Destiny Wells
Pulling
game.
a Destiny Wells, yeah.
Oh, no.
So we made the bet. You know,
See
it's
what
like,
he did
hey,
there?
I do.
You know, we're going to ride the lightning here, but if this kid does not play, abort. And he did not play. So we had to jump on, you know, the Degenerates Next Door Twitter, give the update. So hopefully those who listen to the podcast, and I think those would be the only people betting on that game, knew what to do.
Nobody else is going to bet on that
And Hammer
game.
and I struck a deal because one of the things we have to do is pick these games on Tuesday, because we do one on Thursday as well, is since Notre Dame, when they played Georgia Tech on Tuesday, I had to make a pick. The Georgia Tech quarterback was out, so we washed that one off the board too. So now Hammer and I are equal in terms of our season standings.
So Rob made his pick on Georgia Tech, and then we found out on Friday the quarterback was out. So for the sake of transparency, instead of me picking 6 games next weekend to catch up, we scrubbed that one off, and now everybody survives and advances. The new one comes out on Thursday of the NFL. But, yeah, wherever you get your podcast, sometimes we win. We win more than we lose. But when we lose, we make fun of each other and own it.
I have to ask the Brain Trust here a question. Is IU for real? Can they go all the way?
All the way, no.
Big Ten champ.
They could, based on their schedule, make it to the Big Ten championship. Now, it comes down to tiebreakers, right? Because it looks like there's going to be a number of teams with one loss in the Big Ten. Ohio State's already got one. Indiana has to go to Ohio State here coming up soon. Penn State's always going to lose to Ohio State. So it comes down to tiebreakers, strength of schedule, all that kind of stuff. But hey, man, puncher's chance for sure.
Yeah.
And game days there this weekend. I told Rob this the other day. Are you trying to get your old buddy Kirk Herbstreit to come in studio?
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll send him a text.
I mean, if anybody's got a chance, it's you.
Right.
You've got at least
you know
a
what
connection.
his reaction would be? Who?
Just say Jenny Ruby's friend.
Right. And that might jog his memory. It did at the reunion.
What's coming up this afternoon?
This afternoon, the latest on Delphi. And what I love, we do at 5 o'clock. We bring Donnie Burgess in here for the latest. And now we have Guy Relford joining us at 5 to give an attorney's opinion on what we're learning. Nobody's got better coverage in the afternoon than we do. We hope you tune in at 3:06.
Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow-up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you could see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
Save $50 this spooky season with Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119, plus $75 off duct cleaning too. ZeroResIndy.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why the prosecution's strategy may have backfired in the courtroom in Delphi on Tuesday. Plus, John Herrick reports on just how dry it is throughout the state and when you may be able to get back inside the new IMS Museum. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He's going to vote early, like more than 20 million Americans already have. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Even though former President Trump just told the Brian Kilmeade Fox News radio show.
I'm very mixed. You know, I have the old standard of the Tuesday vote and all.
Again, calling Vice President Harris unfit.
We've had a low IQ person for the last 4 years. We cannot afford to have it any longer.
The former president will hold a town hall and then rally today in Georgia, where Fox's Jonathan Sari reports more than 1 in 4 voters have cast ballots already.
Emory political science professor Andra Gillespie says it's hard to know who's ahead in Georgia because the state does not register voters by party.
People are going to pay attention to if you have access to the voter files and people's prior voter history, the types of ballots that some people may have pulled in primaries.
The Georgia Supreme Court has rejected efforts to immediately reinstate new election rules passed by the Republican-controlled state election board.
There's yet another Republican endorsing Vice President Harris. Ann Veneman, who was the first female agriculture secretary in President George W. Bush's administration. She calls Trump tariff proposals dangerous for rural America. Harris will have a town hall tonight in Pennsylvania pushing for abortion rights, telling NBC News.
A basic freedom has been taken from the women of America. The freedom to make decisions about their own body.
Now to Israel, where Fox's Matt Finn reports.
For the second morning in a row here, around 8 o'clock, the sirens go off in the sky. People rush into the shelters, and then you look up and see rockets in the sky above Tel Aviv being intercepted.
Fired from Lebanon by Hezbollah, which confirms an Israeli strike has killed the Iran-backed group's next leader, set to replace Hassan Nasrallah, who Israel took out in a bombing last month. The housing market slowing down even more. Previously owned home sales dropped 1% last month from August to the slowest annual rate in 14 years, despite falling mortgage rates. The National Association of Realtors says the median price of houses that did sell rose 3% from a year ago. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Did it backfire? It's 65 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The state of Indiana called witnesses for day 4 of the Delphi murders trial yesterday, but the prosecution's plan may not have worked out as well as it was intended. The state claims that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, but many witness testimony say that Bridge Guy described as tall and muscular, while Allen is, in most respects, does not fit that description. The defense also cross-examined a state police investigator who said that he was not aware of any DNA evidence leaking Allen to the murders. 2 teenagers facing charges for carjacking and robbery in Indianapolis. IMPD officer Drew Brown says police responded to a call Sunday near downtown.
Just after 10 p.m., North District officers at IMPD were dispatched to the 1500 block of North Alabama Street on a report of an armed robbery and a carjacking. Our officers arrived and learned that 4 armed and masked suspects held a victim at gunpoint.
Leandrew Beasley and Derek Johnson were arrested, and police are now looking for other people involved. Nearly 3 million people in Indiana are dealing with drought. John Herrick reports on upcoming rain.
Rain is supposed to move through Indiana Friday morning. Just don't expect a lot of it.
Rainfall amounts as the system goes through will probably be a quarter of an inch or less. So not really a big soaking rain, but we could see a little bit of good measurable rain as the front passes across the area.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says the good news is you won't have to worry about strong wind gusts or severe weather. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
$3.01 a gallon is the average price for gas in Indiana today, says Gas Buddy. That's the cheapest gas has been since late January. You may be wondering how the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum is coming along. IMS President Doug Bowles.
It's on time. In fact, we're hoping it'll even open a little bit early as we start getting into Q2
of 2025, but really excited about the way it's going to tell the story.
It's due to be back open by the beginning of April next year, just in time for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500, for which tickets are now on sale on the IMS website. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
One of the joys of working with Radio 1 has been that they actually listen.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
My name's Jake Stamper. I'm the president and CEO of Sagacity Consulting, a full-service marketing and advertising firm.
Communication.
I choose to work with Radio 1 because I have such respect for their ability to achieve a goal. We have served manufacturers to not-for-profits to retail, and the privilege that we have in working with Radio 1 is that they listen to the problems that we're trying to solve or the goals that we want to achieve, which each one of those very vast clients.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
My clients have been extraordinarily happy over the last 20 years with the results produced by Radio 1.
Text business to 71007 to take your advertising to the next level.
Radio 1 does a phenomenal job at connecting with the community on every level.
Get results with WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall. When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money. And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So, Donald Trump was at a football game on Sunday. It was the Steelers and the Jets. It was in Pittsburgh. And, of course, he was greeted with chants from the crowd of USA, USA. NBC only showed Trump for about 4 seconds.
That's it.
Yeah. And then when Taylor Swift goes to a game, they go to her all the time and all the commentary about her being there.
So Matt Hiblin and I were laughing, our boss Matt Hiblin and I were laughing because the Daily Mail, I think, had the photo. There was a photo of the scene where they show him and people have turned around that are up next. He's in a suite, and so the people that are back up to that have turned around, and like some are taking pictures and clapping. And we did a count, and only 2 of the people in a fairly large crowd were flipping him off. We were wondering how many people would be flipping Trump off, and we only were able to spot, it's like a Where's Waldo game or whatever. We were only able to spot 2 people flipping off Donald Trump, which we felt was pretty good considering he was in a major metropolitan city. And only 2 people were giving him the finger. Everyone else appeared to be cheering or excited.
So Mike Tirico, he gave like a brief acknowledgement that Trump was there.
Yeah.
His existence, his attendance at the game. However, when Taylor Swift is at the games, they are fawning all over her. Nonstop commentary. Camera goes to her 7-8 times throughout a game, 30 seconds. They like to see what she's wearing. Is she dancing? Try to lip read what she's saying, what she's cocktailing. This is a guy who wants to be president, and he's there at this game. They give him 4 seconds.
And there's something where I saw some stat where she's shown like 7 times a game. I think is the average amount of time she gets shown in any broadcast that she's on. Well, right. I mean, by the way, who is the more famous person worldwide? Who is the more famous person worldwide? Is it Donald Trump or is it Taylor Swift?
I'm going to say it's Donald Trump because if you're not engaged, you know that hair. Donald Trump's hair. If you saw Taylor Swift without the sparkly outfit or the makeup, maybe she's just wearing a baseball cap, you might just think she is any other woman.
Yeah, I don't know because she's really freaking famous, but he was a president. He was a world leader. Oh, man, I don't know. Like
I think that Donald Trump has replaced Queen Elizabeth as the world's most famous person.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Like if Donald Trump and Taylor Swift both went to Africa, you think more people would recognize Donald Trump than Taylor Swift?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a distinctive look to him.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think people know Taylor Swift in Africa. I think she's just big in the U.S.
I mean, she does a lot of concerts around the world.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. They treat her like the Beatles here, but outside of here, I don't think they care that much.
Interesting.
And also, Trump is known. I think everyone from every generation knows Trump.
Yeah, I'm not saying liked. I'm just saying recognizability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's number one. Okay.
Yeah, I would think so. You don't agree?
No, I don't.
Who would be more famous than him?
I don't disagree. I just was curious to get your thoughts. I mean, I can be swayed either way.
Yeah. So we stayed in Uniontown, Pennsylvania when we went out of town, and we stayed there Friday night. Saturday morning, we woke up and the dude said, Trump's rally with football players only an hour away. And I said, no, we cannot.
That was the one where he started talking about Arnold Palmer's manhood.
Yeah.
You could have been there for that.
We could have been there for that. And then when we were in Baltimore, he said, Trump's going to be at that McDonald's in Pennsylvania tomorrow. We're not that far. He said, we cannot. No. Just stop it with this.
So we talked about this yesterday on the air. We had done Monday, the segment on Trump, talking about Arnold Palmer's manhood. And some guy sent a super mean email, how enraged he was that we had talked about that on the air and that we had cracked some jokes about that. Do you think it was inappropriate for us to have covered the segment on Trump talking about Arnold Palmer's manhood at a rally?
No, because he was the one talking about it. You're just discussing what happened, the current event. I thought it was interesting when Mike Johnson was on, what was it, CNN, and they kept asking, Jake Tapper kept asking him about it, and Mike Johnson was like, well, you're the one who keeps bringing it up. I feel like Donald Trump in that position, he was just trying to play to the hometown crowd.
Well, I didn't even think it was that big of a thing, right? I mean, he didn't say anything offensive. And again, we had the conversation. You're a woman, so it'll be interesting to get your perspective on this. And Kev, you agreed with this, right? As a man, if after you have passed on, if Indiana were to become a swing state and they came to your hometown, so like if they came to Brownsburg, Indiana, and they said Rob Kendall was a great American, he was a great Hoosier, you should be very proud to be from the same hometown as Rob Kendall, and man, was he well endowed. There's not a single man out there that would be like, I'm so offended, that's how I'm remembered.
Yeah, I would just chuckle from the grave.
Yeah, I mean, you would be like, cool, that's how I'm remembered, as being a great person and well endowed. And yet some guy got mad that we even talked about that, or accused me of being a bad Christian and a whole bunch of other things because I had the audacity to say, that's how men would view it. Back me up, Kev. That's how men would view it.
Yeah, I would say most.
And that's how your husband would view it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just Donald Trump tapping in with a male voter, and he was, trying to play up to the hometown
I don't
crowd.
understand what some people get mad, the things some people get mad about. Like, if I go to the pearly gates and, on the long list of things I've done incorrect on this earth, I think that's going to be way down the list. But if they were like, well, you were on the fence, but you said that most men would like to be remembered for being great Americans and being well endowed. You're out of here. Then I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what does me. I was just very surprised at the venom that guy sent on that email of all the things that I say, that's what did it in for him.
I thought it was interesting that Antonio Brown was there doing that rally and then signing people up, and then Le'Veon Bell as well. So is Donald Trump getting the NFL viewer?
Well,
because you get the NFL, you got the country.
Well, it's a play for pockets, right? Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell are, first of all, Antonio Brown has a sort of a national following now because he's so wacky on his Twitter. Not all of it is the most appropriate stuff, but he's got, over 1 million followers, I think. And clearly in a swing state, the belief is that in a place like Pennsylvania, and there's anecdotal evidence to support this, that Trump is pulling away decent portions of black male voters in major metropolitan cities, which is why they sent Obama out to lecture. By the way, what a horrible thing. They sent Obama out there, and he tries to tell these black men, you're just not voting for Kamala because you're a misogynist. You need to get your act together. Really? That's your play? So I think that's what that leads to. I think Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, Trump is clearly going for, and he did this in 2016, it was the union worker, right? It was the kind of the longtime Democrat union worker, and he did it well. This time, his pockets are young men and black men who he believes if he can pull enough of those, and Hispanic men too, believes he can pull enough of those three groups of people that he will be able to win the presidency, and a Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are speaking directly to that core constituency.
Right, and help him along the way. And that's why he's doing that Joe Rogan podcast as well. Carl brought up a really good point that Donald Trump might get himself into trouble if Joe Rogan brings up conversation about the vaccination.
My concern with Trump going on Rogan is Trump is a rambler.
Mm-hmm.
And Rogan, Kev will back me up on this. Rogan, I think, if you're a rambler, I think Rogan's style would amplify your ability to keep rambling because Rogan is kind of a rambler too.
Yeah, definitely. They go in all kinds of directions with the conversation.
Right. I mean, I'm that way. I'm not saying it to be critical of Rogan. I'm not saying that he's doing a bad. Like, if I did a long form interview show, I mean, you see it sometimes even in the short interviews that we do. I could do a 3 hour show every day where I just am talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did before I came here, I had a nightly show where I just interviewed people. It's fascinating to me. But you start going in different directions. Somebody will say something and then you'll go, oh, that's super. Like just a couple cackling hints shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it would be ill-intended by Rogan.
Right.
But I'm saying
you're not running for president.
Trump is a rambler too. And a rambler with a rambler means you might be going down some bizarro
weird rabbit hole
areas.
that maybe you don't want to. Right.
Right. So
but
I don't know.
Donald Trump is pretty good at changing the conversation. When he doesn't want to answer, he deflects very well, and he'll weave in and out of that conversation.
So what is, Kev, when Rogan has people on his show, is there, because we just get the clips, you will listen to these whole shows. I think the only whole Rogan show I've ever listened to was Jesse Ventura was on there several years ago, and I listened to all of that because I think he's one of the most interesting people who's ever lived in this country. But does he go on with the premise, like if you're on CBS Nightly News and you're doing an interview, they kind of have a premise or a block of things. When you walk into a Rogan podcast, is like, okay, hey, 70% of the time we're going to be talking about blank, or do they just tell you, hey, Freddie, you're here?
Whatever.
It's pretty much just dudes hanging out.
Yeah.
And sometimes women
so there's
are on
no
there.
there's no direction. Yeah. Would you have recommended Trump do this? I mean, everybody's saying it's going to break the internet. It's going to break the internet. He's going to have so many people. It will be the most listened to podcast in the history of podcasts.
This is what I tell any person who's running for any sort of public office. And it's hard for people like Trump because he's always been an entertainer first. What is the risk versus the reward?
Mm-hmm.
What is the potential gain versus the risk? So, for example, if you're going to go on a podcast and there's 40 viewers, there's no sizable gain because the 40 people are the echo chamber. Now, if there's I'm talking about like a local candidate, obviously. But now if there's 4,000 or 40,000, well, then there's a lot of people you're potentially reaching.
Well, you're talking millions in this case.
Well, I know, but what I'm trying to say is from a local level, if you're going on a podcast with 40 viewers, there's no upside to it. There's only downside because if you say something and it gets recorded and it's stupid, then you end up getting yourself in trouble. You should not do that. But so in this case, the upside is there's 10 million. Well, now there'll be 20 or 30 million people will ultimately hear this. 20 of the 30 have already made up their mind how they're voting, and they're just gawkers, right?
Yeah.
So the question to Kevin is, and this is you, because I know you've already voted. How many of these Rogan people are either A, people who could be persuaded one way or another, or B, persuaded on how to vote or to vote? Is the Rogan person a voter?
I would say most of them are, and I would think most of the Rogan listener base supports Trump.
See,
but
this
I
is
think
my
there's
point.
probably plenty of people that are kind of indifferent to politics, but maybe
so they're
going
to be listening just for confirmation bias.
So if he's got 10 million normal viewers, and you think, let's say 20% of them, that's 2 million potential people who could be either swayed to vote or vote for you, then you got to go for that. You got to go. It's 2 million.
It's worth the
2 million
risk.
people. Now, if the number's 50,000, then the risk is not worth it. That's what I'm saying. It's all in the margins of whatever you're trying to accomplish, and that's just a math equation you got to do and go accordingly to that. Now, I'm not saying he's doing any of that. I think Trump just sees numbers and goes, "Oh, I got to do that."
Yeah, well, it's funny because Rogan has always talked about how he used to be a Democrat, and I think he might still be a registered Democrat. And so he talks like he's moderate and like he used to be liberal. So maybe there's a lot of people that are like that have kind of are trying to come to the other side.
Maybe.
They seem to get along. Like every time they see each other at different events, they shake each other's hands. They're cordial. They're laughing, slapping each other's backs. But I don't know. I think Trump could get himself into a position he didn't want to.
Well, that's the thing.
He doesn't
right?
need to do it.
I mean, okay, so we know statistically, scientifically, there's tens of thousands of people every day that listen to this radio program because we know, like, it doesn't matter what the YouTube is. Let's take away the YouTube and the podcast. Like, on terrestrial radio, there's 30,000 people or more, whatever the number is, that are listening to this program every single day. So if you're a politician, that's why they want to come on, right? Like, they know, hey, there's this huge potential gain out there of being on this program, of the people I can reach that are engaged people. In podcast land, on a national podcast, I don't know what that, I don't know. I mean, that's above my pay grade. I would probably, oh man, I go back and forth in my own head because that's so many people he could potentially talk to, but he's so bad at rambling.
It's a lot of people he could talk to, but is it really going to be effective?
Well, I know.
Is it really going to make them go vote for him? Maybe it will.
Well, he's doing it. It doesn't matter.
Right. Before we get into break, let's just air this one clip. This is from a previous episode. This is Rogan admitting that life was better under Trump.
He was in all the rap songs. Rappers would always talk about Trump. Everybody loved Trump. It was like this wheeling, dealing billionaire character that everybody enjoyed.
Yeah. I felt like he did a decent job.
As president? When you look at his regulations, it certainly helped the economy.
Oh,
I mean, that guy who was the
I feel
head
like
of,
we were in a lot better spot then than now, for sure.
without a doubt. Well, there's a lot of happened. COVID and the world.
Right.
The world scares the out of me right now. Right now, I'm like, boy, this is not good. None of this Ukraine thing,
loading up on
not
ammo.
good. Yeah, everything not good. Everything scares out of me. I'm looking at all of it going, like, there's no good solutions to the Middle East.
See, I'm just wondering how Donald Trump is going to handle him when he goes off and...
Gotta let him talk.
Yeah, he's going to do his thing. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
When this election is over, we're all going to need a drink. To come to think of it, let's book that now. WIBC and Tony Katz present
Understanding the Election in 3 Bourbons.
Brought to you by Premier Arms.
Thursday, November 14th. And we're going to try and get the answers.
He'll then explain the bourbons that go nicely with election analysis. You'll get a cigar.
There's going to be bourbon. There's going to be food.
A cash bar. And stimulating conversation.
It's going to be an incredible night.
Get the details and your tickets before they sell out at WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friends and family at Life Church. You know, it's Wednesday. Sunday's going to be here before you know it. And this Sunday, if you're looking for something different, it could be a new church home or even a first church home. And if that's you, check out my friends and family at Life Church. We love Life Church. They've had such a great impact on my life, on my family's life. And man, they love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years, and it's not hard to see why. They're warm, they're welcoming. Campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com. Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. You've been waiting. Now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving prices down. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ray in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I needed to move in a hurry, so I was out the door into a new home, but left with the big problem of selling my old home with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. I heard Mark Dietl was the answer, and I heard right. I was ecstatic when Mark sold my home for the price I needed in 2 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
If you are a single or widowed woman, well, the statistics aren't very pretty. You run into a far greater risk of running out of money in retirement than any man or married couple. Hello there. It's Terry Stacy, and the last thing you want to be is 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Discover the strategies that could ensure you never run out of money in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. I know Bill, and I trust Bill, and I'm so thankful that he was able to help my mom, too. I don't put my name on any random Joe, but I'm here to say you can count on Bill Demery. Call Bill at 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212. Call Bill right now.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
All right, Casey, we got to talk about this.
Okay.
So our old pal Todd Meyer was just in here.
Mhm.
Of course, he was Garrison's producer for years. He's now one of the head honchos over there at The Fan.
Yeah.
And we were just a couple cackling hens in here shooting the breeze about Trump going on Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking. One of the things we started early on the show is I'm not sure Trump is winning like people think he's winning. And I don't mean to be Debbie Downer about that. I'm not trying to be anti-Trump about that. My concern is when I'm seeing in Pennsylvania that they've got a 325,000 or whatever the number is vote firewall lead, whatever, that's real math, okay? And you can show me polls and you can whatever, but I know there's a machine. I know there's mass mail and unaccountable voting. I know they're going to give them days after the election to count ballots, and I know they're starting with whatever that number will be, 400,000 or 500,000 or whatever vote lead. That's real math to me, and I'm very concerned about it. Now, Todd thinks he's winning big and he's going to win, and I think you kind of feel the same way, don't you?
I do. I get nervous too. I don't want people to get overconfident, but I mean, I've been in Pennsylvania for 6 weeks, every other week for 6 weeks now, and I've seen the signs and what everybody is saying about what's going on in Pennsylvania. If Trump wins in Pennsylvania, there is one man and one man to thank only, and his name is Scott Pressler. If you don't know who that is and you're big into politics, you need to look him up because he is turning out the registrations in Pennsylvania like never before. Trump organization changed their ground game in Pennsylvania, and largely because of Scott Pressler. I mean, they're getting Amish people out to vote, and they're specifically targeting hunters and truck drivers, and again, building these pockets, these communities that we've talked about, all to come in for this one vote for Trump.
Okay, but again, like if I go to Pennsylvania, 62% of early ballots cast are Democrat. Now, that doesn't mean they all voted Democrat, but I mean 62% of the people were registered Democrats that are casting their vote, 29% Republican, 9 other. Now, I need to go back and look and see, like, what did that look like in 2020? But that's math, right? That's not, here's what's happening in, registering or whatever. So unless all these people are just flowing in on election day, then we got a big issue here on how you overcome all those votes. Now, my question to you, so this when we're talking about all this, do you think Kamala Harris, let's say she does lose, I can't picture her conceding. Can you picture what that would even look like?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because she was asked about that in that NBC interview last night. And she said that she has teams of lawyers ready to challenge election results. Take a listen to this.
We've got 2 weeks to go. And I'm very much grounded in the present in terms of the task at hand. And we will deal with election night and the days after as they come. And we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
So you have teams ready to go? Is that what you're saying? Are you thinking about that as a possibility?
Of course.
There, she just said it.
So let's do some. Why don't we
she's not calling him at midnight.
NBC News. We need to take a break because I want to make sure we have plenty of time to get into this. But let's take a break. But the NBC News actually has a pretty comprehensive list, tally, whatever you want to call it, of how early voting is going. And I want to put some comparison on this early voting to you.
Okay.
And tell me if this is concerning to you or if it changes your mind or if you say, no, it's right in line with what I would think it would be. Because I just, like I said, I obviously want Trump to win. I'm voting for Trump. I just look at numbers and I don't know. So I'll let you talk me off a ledge when we come back.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says he can end it. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. North Korea is said to be sending soldiers to reinforce Russia's military in its war with Ukraine. Former President Trump says if reelected, he could bring the war to an end.
It will be a top priority, and I'll get both sides together, and I'll try and knock some sense into them. And I think I'll be successful.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is at the Vatican today for a private audience with the Pope. He's bringing Pope Francis up to speed on the war in Ukraine. The U.S. Capitol Christmas tree is ready to make its 4,000-mile journey from Alaska to Washington, D.C. The 39-year-old 80-foot Sitka spruce was harvested from Zarembo Island in Alaska's Tongass National Forest over the weekend. It's due to arrive at the U.S. Capitol to be decorated by November 21st. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish and just kind of blah.
Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you concerned about rising gasoline taxes? I'm Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. Hoosiers currently pay sales tax and excise tax on gasoline to the state. No one should pay 2 taxes for gasoline. So my plan is to abolish the gasoline excise tax in Indiana. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
There it is. Nothing works in this place. Good grief. The button would not. Anyway, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. All right, you got to talk me off a ledge because last segment we were getting into these, what is the reality on the ground as we're heading into Election Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that there's all this enthusiasm for Trump and the polling showing that he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a data person, though. I'm a numbers guy.
Yep.
When I was in government, I was the same way. It's weird because I don't read anything, right? But I did, I was a data and numbers guy, which is how you do tax cuts and things like that. And so I'm interested in information. And when you look at a place like Pennsylvania, 62% early vote Democrat, 29 Republican. Michigan, 53 Democrat, 37 Republican. Compare that to Ohio, which is 50-42, Indiana, 54-38.
Mm-hmm.
Pick another Republican state. Kansas, 51-36. Florida is dead even. I don't know how, if you get this far down, you're going to be able to make that up unless they're saying there's going to be such a surge on Election Day that it doesn't matter. And I don't know. The history and math.
It's too big to rig?
Well, I don't know. But you seem fairly confident that's going to happen. So I'll turn it over to you.
I think the difference is these aren't polls. They're not betting markets. These are actual votes.
Right.
That have been cast. And Trump right now trending a lot better than he was at this point in 2016 or in 2020. And this is normally the Democrats' strong suit, is the early voting. And if they're struggling with the early vote now, what's going to happen on Election Day?
But they're not struggling in all the states. This is my point of this. So Arizona is now 43% Republican, 36% Democrat. North Carolina is statistically basically tied. Georgia is 46 Republican. Nevada is on here somewhere. That's Republican. These are not an ABC order. By the way, NBC has a fabulous website if you want to track this stuff yourself and see how these early votes are coming in, and it's pretty accurate and it's pretty up to date. Nevada's 39. So there are swing states where he's doing better. So then are we led to believe that if the early voting is some sort of calculus and he's going to do great on Election Day, he's going to win Nevada by 5 or 6 points?
That's what you have to look at. You have to consider, what did he do in 2016? Not this well at this point.
Yeah.
you want to look at that as a trend. If he's doing this well at this point, imagine, over the next 2 weeks, it's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, I'm just going to be fascinated by this because obviously, look, I want Trump to win, and I want to believe that he's doing well, and I want to believe that America is seeing, hey, we can turn the page and we can try to get back to some semblance of normalcy, and we can, try to get our foreign policy back in line and not send hundreds of billions to countries that hate us, and we can secure the border. I want to believe all those things. I just remain very concerned about how, when you build these firewalls, how you overcome that on Election Day.
Well, it's just early numbers, but if the trend continues, yeah, I think it's going to be his because he's doing better now than he did in 2016 when he, no questions asked, won.
No doubt. I hope you're correct. And I hope on Election Day or the day after Election Day. But to get back to our point of the conversation, you can't see Kamala saying, I lost, right?
No, I don't see her calling. Well, I mean, you had the Secretary of State of Michigan come out and say, well, we're not going to have the results for you that night. It may be a day or two later. Yeah.
How is that possible that Indiana basically by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you have like 85% of this?
We're declaring Indiana.
But think about it. Think about what we have in Indiana. We have voter ID, which is so important. We have tight mail-in balloting laws where you got to have IDs and things like that, and only a certain amount of excuses for voting. I mean, we do it right here. That's why our votes, there's never a question whether they're accurate. People respect the count because we have these policies in place that secure the vote and make it an expedited process.
Yeah, and in states like Michigan, they're already hedging their bets. We're not going to be able to have the results for you right away.
All right, Abdul is next. There's a big thing on your ballot this fall that a lot of people don't know. 3 of our state Supreme Court justices are up for retention. You'll make the choice. We'll talk about it with Abdul coming up next.
It's 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-735-0911. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-735-0911. 800-735-0911. That's 800-735-0911.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, Rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
High taxes can erode returns quickly. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? Let Creative Planning help with a free year-end tax review. This personalized review will help you reduce your tax burden before the year ends. It's the perfect time to take proactive steps to optimize your tax situation. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free tax review. Act now. This offer is only good till Monday, October 28th at midnight. That's creativeplanning.com/radio.
My husband, Bob, has Parkinson's, and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care, and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
On a small Missouri farm back when the West was young, two boys learned to rope and ride.
So the judges are on the ballot this fall in Indiana. You got to make a choice. And the liberals, well, they want you to give them the old heave-ho. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. And look who it is. Our residential man of the law. He is an attorney at law. He's also an author, a broadcaster, and the owner and operator of IndyPolitics.org. Abdul-Hakim Shabazz, hello.
Hello, my friend. How's it going?
Good. We got into this a little bit the other day. Casey was out, but we talked a little bit about how the 3 state Supreme Court judges are up for retention.
Yes.
That's what they call it, right? Retention. And the voters, you the voter, get to make the say in this. Now, the way this works is judges are appointed to the state Supreme Court by the governor. They're nominated by a commission. The governor picks of the 3. They narrow down to 3. The governor picks. That person is on the court for 2 years. Then you, the public, get to say whether to retain them. And then after that, it's every 10 years. So there are 3 judges up. One has been there 2 years. The other 2 have been there, well, 12 years now. And now you get to decide on these people. And the controversy, and Capital Chronicle had a big article about this, is the liberals are coming for these 3 state Supreme Court judges now because they upheld Indiana's new abortion law. And to me, I look at this and go, if your whole thing on whether a judge is competent or not is one ruling, one individual ruling, who you know nothing about these judges, you know most of these people have no idea how they've ruled on other things, I think you may be doing it wrong.
It's like getting into a car accident and blaming the stop sign.
Yeah, right?
The stop sign had nothing to do with whether you caused the accident. It was you, not the stop sign. And you're right, because like I said, I want to say is up for attention. Justice Rush, Justice Massa, and Justice Moultrie. Known all 3 of them for a while. Obviously known Moultrie a little bit, not as long as I've known Massa and Justice Rush. They're all good justices. Do I agree on everything? No. But then again, their job is to interpret the law, period. Here's what the Constitution says. Here's what the law says. Here's what this person want to do. Here's why this does or doesn't violate the Constitution. And bam, that's it.
Yeah, isn't it weird, too, because you had talked about in your poll you did that the state Supreme Court had a pretty high approval rating.
We asked people to trust the U.S. Supreme Court decision. That was like 52-48. We asked they trust the Indiana Supreme Court. They were like 65-35.
And in large part, that's because nobody knows who these people are or what they do. And then if they don't know about you, that means you haven't really done anything too bad for them to know about you.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? If I'm a judge, I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing, because you're drawing attention to yourself and not the law.
It's like an umpire or referee during a ball game.
Yeah.
You shouldn't know that the person is there. And
if the umpire's blind.
Well, or it's like Leslie Nielsen in The Naked Gun, right? But I think
you're out of here.
It's interesting that the liberals say, okay, well, this one thing, these people deserve to be fired. Look, Massa and Moultrie were for the state and against John Rust, as I recall, in that case on Indiana's election law. I'm very passionate that they got that wrong. Now, Rush did side with John Rust and say the law was unconstitutional, but the other two ruled differently than I would want. But I wouldn't throw them out based on one ruling that I don't like because I agreed with them on the abortion issue. So, I mean,
if you look at Indiana over the past 20 years, like I said, since I've been here, and I'm sure Jim mentioned this when he talked to you earlier today, where a situation like right to work, the abortion law. Heck, even if daylight savings time got before the Supreme Court, they would basically follow the law and the Constitution. That's what judges do, period.
Yeah, and even your favorite judge on the Supreme Court, there will be something you're going to disagree with them on. Now, if you wanted to say, and I think there's some merit, no pun intended, since we just mentioned Jim, but I think there's some merit to saying, some people believe this, hey, if you've been there in 12 years, you've been there too long, I think it's time for someone new. Some people just believe that, and that's an okay way to vote. But the idea that you're coming for somebody because they said, I interpreted the law and the Constitution to the best of my ability, and here is the reasoning that I came up with, I just think, and by the way, Braun would get the next set of picks if he's the governor, if he indeed hangs on and wins the election. Braun probably not going to put a bunch of pro-abortion advocates on the state Supreme Court.
I look at it like this. Look at judges have to do with child support issues. If a judge was going to get kicked out of office because of a bad child support decision, we would have because not say a bad child support decision, because the child support decision one of the parties didn't like, we'd have no judges, period, in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
You had touched on something during State House happenings, which I think is interesting, which is that maybe we should change the way we pick these judges because we are, in a sense, bringing, and this is why the federal judiciary, it's a lifetime appointment, because the intent is to take politics out of the decision-making. Now, the downside of that is then they can do whatever they want. There's no sense of accountability. But here, it's like you are now injecting politics into the court system.
I think there is accountability because we have a judicial commission that goes after judges who do bad things, and we saw actually, if you recall, a couple years ago, outside of they're on South Meridian Street, in front of what's the place near the Red Garter? The judges that got in trouble.
Yes, the White Castle.
The White Castle, the drinking and the yelling, judges can't be held accountable for a cause. If you do something bad, taking bribes, you can get thrown out of office. But otherwise, I believe judges should be appointed. They got the job for life, or maybe like we can figure out sort of the dynamics on the appellate courts and the local judges. But judges get the job, get appointed for life, and move on.
Yeah, and so it's on your ballot this fall. I just want to touch on it. Obviously, you're a lawyer, and so I thought that'd be good. Real quick, and we got into this with Merritt earlier in the program. I did that event with Micah last night. It was good event, good energy. About 100 people there. I do, and we talked about this with Jim earlier. I think Braun is going to win. I do think, though, that he has failed to really energize the Republican base. I think it's a red state, but he hasn't run exactly a great campaign.
I had a conversation recently with someone who attended the Allen County Bean Dinner, which is a big Republican event up in the Fort Wayne area.
I've been to that when I worked for the auditor.
Yeah.
Worked for 3 auditors. You know that? Very short period of time.
Almost 4. Heck, you could have been the auditor.
I was in a line of succession, brother.
At the Allen County Bean Dinner, which is a big Republican event. No, the Braun didn't really excite not a whole lot of energy. And I've been hearing that over and over again from all parts of Indiana. I was down in Decatur County the other day doing some court stuff. Had a conversation with some elected officials down there. Like, hey, what are you guys hearing? What's going on down here? Like, is Braun get it? Like, he'll get it, but there's just no.
Yeah.
The only thing that's saving Braun right now, 2 things, is Donald Trump and the R behind his name, and that's provided that the Trump voter actually stays. Because a lot of a Republican may be a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter is not necessarily a Republican, so I could easily see a situation where 30 Trump people come in, vote for Trump, and then, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, the passion, and this is kind of weird, but the passion is definitely with Micah. Now Micah's got his own set of things he brings to the table, but we go to these events, like the passion is the base, the hardcore R's. The passion is with Micah, and I say this as a radio broadcaster. I say this is somebody who wants Braun to win. We're going to have him on tomorrow, and kind of think Braun and I have gotten along pretty well here. But you got to give people a reason to be fired up about you. You got to say, hey, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to make your life better. And I just don't think he's done a great job of selling people on, here are the things that I'm super passionate about. And I actually think, like, in terms of government reform, I think he's going to do great. I think he'll go in there and clean house. I think the universal school choice is going to get passed, which will be great. I know you agree with that, too. The property tax, we'll see. I think he will try. Whether he gets it done or not, I don't know. But I do think he'll do these things. But it's like, you got to tell people about why you're fired up about helping them.
It's here's an example I use. I used it in the last column I wrote. When my wife wanted her iPad, when iPads first came out, she wanted a purple iPad. Like, but honey, I can get you a green one or a blue one. Like, but I want a purple one. But honey, I wanted a purple one because it was an emotional decision.
Yeah.
And that's why I got a purple iPad. Because number one, I want quiet in my house.
Yeah. Yes.
But number two, voting is fundamentally an emotional decision. People vote for who they like or against who they can't stand. So you got to drive that passion. And Mike just doesn't do it. And I believe if you ask Mike privately and ask him tomorrow, like, hey, Mike, could you guys run a better campaign? Only a damn fool would say, well, everything's just great, Rob. Everything's wonderful. Like, and Mike's not stupid. Mike's a smart business guy.
Yeah. He is lucky that he's going to have Trump at the top of the ticket. He's going to have so many straight ticket Republican voters. I mean, the early voting, now, again, not all Republican primary voters are going to vote Republican throughout the ticket. You're right. There will be some people who vote for Trump and will leave. But they're starting out with this massive advantage in terms of Republican primary voters who are coming in. So
yeah, but I could also see a situation too in the remaining 10 days of the campaign. 2 words: Richard Murdoch.
Well, yeah, but look, I've said this for years now. I think if Murdoch had said that today, I still think he would have won the election. I think we were so partisan now compared to where we were 12 years ago, and I think the state's so red now. I think he still would have won the election saying that. I think it's changed so much. I don't think it matters.
Oh, today probably not. But once again, but do not underestimate a politician's ability to have a Murdoch moment.
Well, there is one more debate tomorrow.
Yes, there is.
We'll see. All right. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
IndyPolitics.org. Find Abdul. All his stuff. Read it. Bookmark it. Help him out. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Casey. As always, great job. Thank you to Kevin. And most importantly, thank you to you, the listener. Without you, there is no us. Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
It's starting to be